Chapter 158. Alright, all of you come out. Come out to eat and drink. It's quite tiring to be following in the dark all the time. Lin Ray knew that after they left the Royal Pill City, the people from the Dark Group had been following them for more than 20 days. They were travel-worn and had solved a lot of problems for Lin Ray along the way. Yes. After hearing Lin Ray's words, the people from the Dark Group came to Lin Ray's side. However, they didn't sit down. Instead, they stood straight behind Lin Ray, motionless. Hee, all of you sit down. I told you to come over and rest. Now, don't treat me as the sect leader. Just treat me as your brother. Don't be shy. With that, Lin Ray took out a few jars of prairie fire and some roasted meat and gave them to them. After the people from the Dark Group heard Lin Ray's order, all of them sat down and started eating. Seeing them like this, Lin Ray smiled. After all, they were only children and sons who weren't even 20 years old. It was naturally not easy for them to be able to eat like this. Just like this, Lin Ray and the others ate and drank until they reached the edge of the land of innocence. Along the way, Lin Ray took the opportunity to practice the 2 martial skills that the system gave him. Needless to say, when Lin Ray practiced the martial skills, combined with the demonic chi of the demonic slash, its power was even greater. It seems that these 2 martial skills were specially selected by the system to be used together with the demonic slash. On the way, Lin Ray didn't stop cultivating. Occasionally, he would come out to spar with the people from the Dark Group. However, in the end, the Dark Group was completely defeated. Time passed quickly. Finally, after a month of traveling, Lin Ray and the others arrived at the Sea of Innocence at the fastest speed. That's enough. Hurry up and hide. Take these things later. Unless it's a matter of life and death, don't take them out. Also, no matter when, without my permission, even if I'm about to be killed, don't come out. If anyone disobeys my order, then wait for the Xuanzong Sect to hunt them down for eternity. I believe that you know the Xuanzong Sect's strength best. With that, Lin Ray took out some of the best treasures he had obtained many years ago from his storage ring and gave them to them. Being warned. Although Lin Ray knew that these people who had taken the mind control pill would not disobey his order, Lin Ray repeated his warning just in case. Lin Ray was not afraid that they would appear and let people know about the existence of the Xuanzong Sect, but because he was afraid. He was afraid that even if he couldn't deal with them, these 20 Dark Group members would be courting death if they came out. Rather than that, it would be better not to come out. Perhaps there would still be a glimmer of hope. Hearing Lin Ray's order, the Dark Group members took the order and dispersed. As for the Scarlet Tiger, Lin Ray put it away when he arrived at the edge of the Sea of Innocence, although he was somewhat unwilling. Seeing that everything had been taken care of, Lin Ray went to find a place to change out of all the high-grade equipment he was wearing, and then changed into a set of low-grade magic robes. He then took out a disguise pill from his storage ring and swallowed it. The pill melted as soon as it entered his mouth. Not long after, Lin Ray's face began to change. After a while, the originally delicate and smooth young man had now turned into a coarse and ugly middle-aged man. Ha! This laughter was no longer as hearty as before. At this moment, Lin Ray's voice had been deliberately changed to that of a middle-aged man. After doing all this, Lin Ray walked out. At this moment, Lin Ray was someone that no one in the crowd would want to look at. Laughing, he followed a group of cultivators to the edge of the Sea of Innocence. The originally quiet Sea of Innocence had become even livelier over the past few days. There were people of all races. Humans, Yao, Asuras, and demons. In the past few days, Lin Ray had finally met all kinds of people. For example, the demons had a natural demonic aura about them that others found unbearable. The Asuras, on the other hand, had a natural bloodthirsty aura that others didn't dare to get close to. Only the Yao were slightly better. Although they all had the appearance of humans, there were always some differences. He had been free for 3 or 4 days after arriving at the Sea of Innocence. During these days, whenever Linley had the time, he would stop and practice the Azura spear art. After seeing the cultivation levels of the various clans, Linley had a new perspective on this trip to the Sea of Innocence. Right now, Linley did not think that he would be able to obtain the primordial fruit in the illusory sea, as he had seen many Mahayana realm cultivators. Regardless of whether they were from the human race or other races, they all seemed determined to obtain the primordial fruit. Finally, on the 7th day, which was today, Linley finally arrived at the edge of the Sea of Innocence where the primal fruits grew. Phew! I'm finally here. Lin Ray finally breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the dense crowd of cultivators, the sense of urgency in his heart grew even stronger. Forget it. I'll just find a place to sit and watch the tigers fight. I'm not stupid enough to make an enemy out of such a large group of people like you. As he spoke, Linley found a secluded corner and sat down, taking out the prairie blazing fire and tasting it by himself. Rumble! Right at this moment, in the skies, a blood-red cloud suddenly appeared, carrying with it a terrifying aura of power that swept towards Linley. Sensing this aura, Linley opened his eyes and stared at the sky with widened eyes. Ha ha ha! Ants become nutrients for this ancestor's body. Suddenly, a sharp and extremely wretched voice came from the red cloud. This voice attracted the attention of everyone present. With a swoosh, the red cloud in the air began to shrink, finally transforming into a wretched-looking, skinny man. He didn't even have a single strand of hair on his head, and he had a mouthful of yellow teeth in his mouth. Then, he charged downwards, instantly arriving not too far away from Linley. Looking at his current appearance, anyone who saw him would burst out laughing, because this person's appearance was truly comical. Ha! Who is this? Ancestor? You're wearing red and you look like a beggar. Good thing you're talking big again. Ha ha ha. That's right. Brother, you're right. You want us to be your nutrients? Ha! Are you worthy? Let's not talk about this for now. Even if you can do it, we're not to be trifled with. There are many disciples from big sects here. Do you think you can afford to offend them? Ha ha. However, looking at this wretched old man, he looks like he's sick in the head. I advise you to go back and take your medicine. Ha ha ha. After hearing everyone's words, the old man didn't curse as expected. Instead, he smiled unusually. It was an unforgettable smile. Ha ha. Big sects? Ha ha. Who doesn't know that the Red Lotus Empire has already unified the Tianxian continent? What big sects are there? Stop deceiving yourself and become this ancestor's nourishment. After saying that, the old man's hand seals started changing rapidly. He was chanting, "Use my body as a guide to create a blood spirit spell formation. Use the cultivators in the spell formation as a medium. Use my body as a medium. Burn." After he finished chanting, suddenly, with the old man as the center, a mass of blood-red spiritual power began to rush out in all directions. It was extremely fast. Before anyone could react, the old man's array had already taken shape. Yin and Yang rotation, the blood-spirit array is formed. Just as the old man shouted, an enormous formation appeared and surrounded everyone present. Of course, that included Linley. F***ck, what the hell is going on? What does it have to do with me? I didn't scold you. At this time, Lin Ray was speechless. When the old man came down, Lin Ray knew that this old man was at the peak of the Mahayana realm. Therefore, Lin Ray had an indifferent attitude from the beginning. What exactly did I do wrong has nothing to do with me. Are you out of your mind? If it weren't for the fact that I didn't want to expose myself to everyone too early, perhaps I would have killed you before you started setting up the array. Why would I be waiting here to be arrogant? Of course, Lin Ray wouldn't say such words out loud. At this moment, he could only grumble inwardly. Blood Spirit Array, smelt for me. In an instant, the formation was activated, and a scorching flame appeared in the middle of the formation. Gradually, within a few minutes, people began to die. The corpses were also instantly refined by the flame into drops of blood essence that fused into the old man's body. Old man, I'm the third disciple of the Sword House. Aren't you afraid that the Sword House will take revenge on you for doing this? At this moment, upon witnessing the deaths, the people who had been pampered since young couldn't help but use the name of their sect to pressure the old man. Ha 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 ha! Sword House, I remember that our ancestor once massacred the Sword House. I remember that your Sword House was still in charge back then, right? Boom. The self-proclaimed third disciple was dumbfounded after hearing the old man's words because he had heard from his master that such a thing had happened back then. Moreover, the Sword House was indeed in charge back then. But later on, he heard that the person who massacred the Sword House was suppressed. Could it be, haha, so be obedient and wait for your death? After saying that, the old man increased the power of the array once again. At this moment, the arrogant people began to beg the old man to let them go. In the end, their pleas turned into pleading and gradually turned into despair. Ha ha! Awesome! So much pure blood essence. Ha ha! It seems that the ancestors' cultivation is going to improve again. Lin Ray, who had been observing this scene, finally couldn't help but feel the fear from his soul. At this moment, Lin Ray couldn't hold it in anymore. It didn't matter if he was exposed or not. Anyway, now that he had the disguise pill, Lin Ray was ready to counterattack. Chapter 159. Humph, how dare you be so impudent in the human race? Do you really think that I, the Red Lotus Empress, am dead? Lin Ray had originally thought that he would have to fight to the death. He had not expected Red Lotus to suddenly step forward. This was something that neither Lin Ray nor the Blood Ancestor had expected. Humph, Red Lotus, you and I were born in the same era. Why don't you give me some face and let bygones be bygones? Let's not interfere in each other's business in the future. What do you think? At this moment, when he saw that the person who had spoken was the Red Lotus Empress of the Tianxian continent, the old man immediately changed his stance. Humph, just like you said, we were born in the same era. However, your behavior is enough for me to kill you. Red Lotus did not give the old man any face at all. Her tone was filled with disdain when she heard the old man's words. Now you have two choices in front of you. The first is to let them go and get lost. The second is that you can choose not to let them go, but you won't be able to leave either. In comparison, any smart person will choose the wiser choice. Good, you have guts. Hearing Red Lotus's two choices, the old man immediately admitted defeat. He could not afford to gamble, nor did he dare to gamble. It seems that you are not that stupid. Seeing that the old man was so sensible, Red Lotus did not make things difficult for him. After all, it was not easy to find someone from the same era as her in this era. Alright, you are all safe now. However, the Empress still wants to advise you to leave quickly. What happens next is not something that you can handle now. After everyone was saved, Red Lotus's words immediately pulled everyone's hearts back to reality. Red Lotus Empress, what will you do if we don't follow your orders? Alright, but don't blame me for not reminding you. The coming days are not something that you can compare to now. Even a Mahayana realm cultivator might not be able to complete the final hurdle. After saying that, Hong Lian didn't say anything else. She knew that no matter what she said, these people wouldn't listen. Just as everyone was feeling depressed, Lin Ray knew that what Red Lotus said was completely correct. However, the only thing Lin Ray needed to do was to obtain the primordial fruit. That way, he could leave the profound sky continent and return to where he belonged. It's time to sneak over. It's already been half a month since the old man imprisoned them. Along the way, many experts have arrived at the edge of the Sea of Innocence. Over the past few days, not just humans, but experts from other races have arrived as well. The originally quiet place became lively after the arrival of the other races. They would compete with the other races from time to time, and each time, they would return with blood spilled. Later on, Red Lotus set another rule. However, in this competition, other than spilling blood, no one was allowed to take the lives of others as a guarantee. Hearing Hong Lian's words, everyone obeyed. None of them took the lives of others. However, in the end, they only left a trace of their aura. Ever since Hong Lian set the rules, all the races had erected an arena in an open space to pass the time. There were also formations set up by the humans around it. Anyone who was willing to go up could challenge anyone. This game had persisted since the birth of the primordial fruit. It had been abandoned. Not only that, many people had originally followed the rules set by the Red Lotus. However, later on, the Red Lotus only cared about the birth of the primordial fruit. They no longer cared about the matters on their side. Of course, if the first person died, there would be a second. Later on, more and more people died. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei couldn't be bothered to watch, so he left immediately. He went to the place where the system said the primordial fruit was most likely to appear and waited quietly. Time passed quickly. Half a month passed, but there was no sign of anything strange at the edge of the Sea of Innocence. Some people couldn't bear the wait and left early. Those who stayed were all great Ascension stage powerhouses, except for Lin Rei. However, everything was calm and peaceful on this day. Linley was also sitting down. Suddenly, a piece of music appeared. It was incomparably ethereal, causing one to feel as though they were about to ascend to immortality. Furthermore, Linley could feel that the cultivation base that he had just broken through in his body was faintly increasing. Boom! There was a loud noise. In the water at the edge of the Sea of Innocence, a huge rock suddenly appeared. A fruit tree more than a meter long was on it, but strangely, there was only one fruit on the tree. It was a golden fruit exuding a fragrance. Seeing this scene, the heavy responsibility couldn't bear it anymore. Quick, the primordial fruit is out. Everyone, hurry up! No one knew who shouted, and the scene suddenly went out of control. Even if it was Red Lotus, it was not easy to fight with so many Deshang stage cultivators. At this moment, Red Lotus could only watch this group of Deshang stage cultivators snatch the treasures. Ha ha ha! The primordial fruit is mine. At this time, an old man with a head full of white hair was the first to rush to the place where the primordial fruit grew. Just as he was about to get the fruit, the person behind him caught up and cut off the old man's arm with a magic sword. Ah! Old Foggy Sky, how could you treat me like this? Aren't you afraid that my sect will take revenge on you? Seeing that the person who cut off his arm was Old Foggy Sky, who had always been on good terms with him, he roared at Old Foggy Sky with a red face. Heh! Idiot, as long as I get the primordial fruit, do you think I will still be afraid of your sect? When the time comes, if he makes the ancestor unhappy, the ancestor will kill him with a slap. As he spoke, the one called Yun Wu Tian directly kicked the old man with the broken arm out of the room. You hindrance! However, could Old Foggy Sky get the primordial fruit? Of course, it was impossible. Hundreds of great Ascension stage cultivators started a chaotic battle. The old man who saw Old Foggy Sky was the first to die. When the battle started, all the races started killing each other. The scene was extremely tragic. Mountains of corpses were piled up and blood stained the ground. Everyone was risking their lives to get the primordial fruit. However, what they didn't know was that the people who didn't make a move were the ones most likely to get the primordial fruit. Hundreds of great Ascension stage cultivators fought for several days. In the end, only a few people managed to walk out. However, they were already exhausted and had no fighting strength to speak of. At this time, they were very regretful. They regretted participating in the chaotic battle. They regretted watching their loved ones leave one by one while they did nothing. PFFF. Ha ha. Essence blood. Essence blood is all mine. Suddenly, a person that Linley wanted to kill appeared. Those people who had just survived the chaotic battle originally thought that they would be fine, but after hearing the words of the self-proclaimed ancestor, their faces immediately changed, and they looked at the old man who had come from the horizon with fear in their eyes. No, no. Don't kill me, don't kill me. I don't want the primordial fruit, I don't want it. At this moment, a few people knelt on the ground and begged the old man who had already arrived. Their voices were very miserable, and they knocked their heads on the ground. Blood flowed out, but in the end they couldn't avoid death. Ha ha! I already said that if you want to play, you'll all be my nutrients. Look, now it's good. With that, the old man's eyes were filled with disdain as he arrived before them. A pair of peak Great Ascension stage spirit force slammed towards them. Boom, 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 all of a sudden their bodies exploded. However, there was no blood splattering all over the ground. The blood of the cultivators who exploded began to shrink. In the end, they turned into drops of blood essence, and were sent to the ancestor's body. Ha ha! Nice, this is the effect I wanted. At this moment, the old man seemed to have a brain full of lust. After absorbing the essence blood of the cultivators, he turned his gaze to Lin Ray, who was huddled in the corner. Damn, I haven't even gone to deal with you yet, and you dare to come here and act so presumptuously? Damn, do you really think I'm an old bully? When Lin Ray saw the old man turn his gaze to him, he knew that this battle was unavoidable. Haha, little child, look at this. You're only here to die. Why don't you be a good person and give me your essence blood? That way, I won't have to do anything. Humph, if you want this lord's life, then come and take it yourself. I originally wanted to spare your life, but since you don't care about your life, then don't blame me. Hearing the old man's words, Lin Ray was furious. Without any nonsense, he directly took out the Emu 10,000 Laws sword that he had just obtained. This time, Lin Ray wanted to test the power of the Sky Demon Slash. As for the Martial Emperor Divine Spear, Lin Ray didn't want to expose it too early because he believed that in addition to the old man in front of him, there would definitely be more powerful cultivators. Oh, it seems that you want to fight with the ancestor. TSK, it seems that you're quite confident. Seeing the face in Lin Ray's hand and the murderous aura exuding from Lin Ray's body, the ancestor knew that this was definitely not a good person. Cut the crap, try the power of my Sky Demon Slash. Boom! The spiritual power in Lin Ray's body suddenly turned into Black Devil Chi when he operated the Sky Demon Slash. When everyone saw this scene, they were all stunned because they had always thought that Lin Ray was a human disciple, but now it seemed that they were wrong. Red Lotus, who was standing in the air, revealed a puzzled look at this time. When Lin Ray took out the Emu 10,000 Laws sword, Red Lotus saw that this face was exactly the same as the purple gold 10,000 Laws sword that Lin Ray had used for a few hours before. However, Lin Ray's appearance was different from the current person. What? He's a member of our Devil Clan? Why don't I have records of this? Moreover, his cultivation is so high, it's impossible for him to be an unknown person. Go and investigate, you must find out who he is and why there has never been a member of the Devil Clan. Chapter 160. By now, all the demons were in a daze. The demonic energy that Linley was using was incomparably pure, even purer than the demonic energy that they, the demon race's disciples, were cultivating. Seeing this, the demon race's big boss decided that, regardless of whether this person before them was a demon or not, they had to obtain his cultivation method. Of course, Lin Ray didn't know when these devils made their decision. At this moment, Lin Ray was 12 times more focused. Sky Slash, absolute kill. Lin Ray raised the longsword in his hand and pointed it at the patriarch in front of him. He immediately used a sure kill move, gathering all the demonic energy in his body into the sword and slashing towards the patriarch. Boom! A huge demonic energy slash, carrying the pressure of a mid-stage transcending tribulation cultivator, rolled towards the patriarch. Hiss! This brat, he can actually make such a powerful attack? At this moment, the patriarch wasn't in a good position. Seeing the fast demonic energy slash, he was caught off guard and could only use his arms to block in front of him. Bang! Lin Ray's demonic energy slash sent the patriarch flying 100 meters away into the sea of innocence. Wow, I didn't expect the sky demon slash to be so powerful. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray was shocked. He didn't expect the sky demon slash to be so powerful. At most, it could send the patriarch flying a few meters away. Ah! Brat, the blood ancestor, haven't been injured so badly in a long time. Do you know that you are courting death? While roaring, the old man who called himself the blood ancestor stood up from the sea of innocence and roared at Lin Ray. His eyes were bloodthirsty and his face was deathly pale. Moreover, his arms were injured by Lin Ray's sky demon slash. Blood was flowing down, but the old man ignored it as if he didn't see it. Humph, old man, things didn't have to be like this. You forced me again and again. Tell me, what have I done wrong to you? Even if I was hiding in a corner when they were scolding and laughing at you, you just had to find trouble with me. Tell me, who do you think you can blame? The two of them began to reason with each other. For a moment, everyone was dumbfounded. They had originally thought that there would be a great battle, but until now, they had not seen it. Isn't this because I want to help you? See for yourself. So many people have died. You're just a mid-stage crossing tribulation cultivator. What's the use of staying here? At this moment, the blood ancestor was also very surprised. Although she knew that it was possible to fight to the death with the person in front of her, she wasn't sure if she could win in a real battle. Bastard, don't find such a high-sounding reason for your actions. I'll say it again. If you want to fight, then let's fight. I've never been afraid. If you don't want to fight, then wait for me. Wait for the primordial fruit to ripen. Hearing Linley's words, the blood ancestor thought for a moment. This was a good idea. All right, then it's settled. But when I absorb their blood essence, you can't come out and cause trouble. Otherwise, I won't let you go even if I have to die. After saying that, the blood ancestor fled. Everyone who saw this scene showed contempt in their eyes. Lin Ray also sighed. He originally wanted to have a great battle to exert pressure on everyone, but now he couldn't do it. However, at this time, Red Lotus, who was far away in the sky, had her eyes fixed on Lin Ray. She always felt that the person in front of her was very similar to that person, but his aura was different. This was also what puzzled Red Lotus. Oh, you want to see through me? Unless you have the strength of a golden immortal. Oh no, even if you have the strength of a golden immortal, you won't be able to see through me. At this time, Lin Ray, who had returned to the corner, had already sensed that Red Lotus was staring at him from the sky, so he had already asked the system to seal the original aura on his body. However, at this moment, everyone present was scheming in their hearts. They were all scheming against each other in order to compete for the primordial fruit. Even the people closest to them couldn't resist the great temptation of being able to advance by a large realm. Boom! A golden light was emitted from the primordial fruit. The surrounding spirit chi began to gather around the primordial fruit. Plop! Just as the primordial fruit was gathering spirit, the creatures in the huge sea of innocence became restless and began to circle around the stone pillar. The seawater began to surge, and everyone began to feel nervous. Everyone took out their weapons to prepare for battle. No one was an exception. Even Red Lotus, who was already in the Earth Immortal realm, was no exception. Let's see who will be the victor in the end and get the primordial fruit. Lin Ray's mouth twitched when he saw everyone's reaction, but he didn't act like them. Lin Ray was still motionless and obediently hiding in the corner, as if the matter here had nothing to do with him. I don't care what you are on the shore. In the end, whether you're a human or a demon, I want to tell you that I've guarded the primordial fruit for no less than hundreds of thousands of years. So leave. Go away, pig-headed people. I don't mind going out to stretch my muscles. Just as everyone was about to swarm him, a powerful voice rang out from the sea of innocence. The voice carried a powerful pressure. What? How is this possible? How can there be such a profound creature in the sea of innocence? Everyone panicked when they sensed the pressure from the voice in the sea. They wanted to retreat, but for the sake of their dignity, they braced themselves and stood in place. Of course, they were not the only ones. Even Red Lotus, who was in the sky, was shocked. From the pressure just now, she could feel that the creature in the sea was also in the Earth's celestial realm. This scene of a real number realm made her extremely unhappy. Humph, we came here to obtain the primordial fruit, and you're telling us to retreat? Who do you think you are? While everyone was quietly watching this scene, a discordant voice resounded. Suddenly, the faces of everyone present became even higher. Although they didn't say anything, but in their hearts, they were already cursing the person who spoke just now to death. Sure enough, the creature in the sea of innocence was thoroughly enraged when the voice rang out. Ha 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 ha, good good good. It's been hundreds of thousands of years. I haven't heard such words in these hundreds of thousands of years. You're not bad, but I said before that the primordial fruit is something I must protect. You don't have the right or the ability to do so. Puff. As soon as the creature in the sea finished speaking, a stream of water from the sea of innocence turned into a water arrow and shot towards the speaker. Humph, how can such a small trick stump me? The middle-aged man stood where he was and condensed the spiritual energy in his hand into a 3-meter-long palm, blocking the water arrow that was shot at him. Bang! When the water arrow and the palm collided, the water arrow and the spirit energy palm exploded, but the middle-aged man wasn't injured. Ha ha, I didn't think that's all you've got. You even dare to call yourself I? Who do you think you are? Aren't you just a flood dragon that lives in the water? The middle-aged man didn't stop talking because of the attack just now. He directly revealed the true body of the powerhouse in the sea of innocence. How can this be? How do you know my true body? Tell me, who are you? Hurry up and tell me. When the creature in the sea heard the middle-aged man reveal his true body, he knew that the middle-aged man's origins couldn't be underestimated. His strength couldn't be underestimated either. Ha ha, well said, well said. I'm Zhao Pan, the disciple of the Kunlun Immortal Clan's third elder and the current head of the Kunlun Sect. After the middle-aged man tossed a pill into his mouth, his originally middle-aged face began to slowly disappear. Finally, Zhao Pan's face appeared before everyone's eyes. What, Zhao Pan? At this moment, Red Lotus was also shocked. The Zhao Pan she'd been thinking about day and night had finally appeared. Haha, Red Lotus, how is it? Are you a little anxious to find me? At this moment, Zhao Pan raised his head to look at King Red Lotus. He was looking at her with a provocative gaze. Humph, die. Today, I'll make your Kunlun sect disappear from Tianxian continent. With that, Red Lotus pulled out her weapon and rushed down, slashing at Zhao Pan's head. She released her peak Earth Immortal cultivation. Haha, do you think you're the only peak Earth Immortal? Seeing Red Lotus's cultivation, Zhao Pan naturally didn't want to be outdone and released the cultivation he was so proud of. Instantly, the situation became tense. What? Sensing Zhao Pan's cultivation, Red Lotus was shocked. She wanted to retreat, but it was too late. It was too late. Overlord's sword, profound heaven slash. Zhao Pan brought out his immortal artifact and stabbed it at the incoming Red Lotus above him. Instantly, thousands of sword shadows shot towards Red Lotus, each with an unstoppable aura. Misty, Cloud and Sand Mystic Mist Technique, Resolve. She sent out a hand seal and the sword in her hand danced in the air, wanting to block the thousands of sword silhouettes. However, Zhao Pan, who possessed an immortal artifact, was not someone that she, who only possessed a prized artifact, could fight against. Pluff, pluff, pluff. Red Lotus robe was cut open by Zhao Pan's sword. Blood flowed out and soaked her robe. Red Lotus became even more alluring in the blink of an eye. Phew! I finally blocked it. At this moment, Red Lotus was very glad. She was glad that she blocked the attack, and was even more glad that she was still alive. Humph, Zhao Pan, do you think you're the only one who knows this martial technique? Looking at the gloating expression on Zhao Pan's face, Red Lotus went crazy. Wielding her artifact, she cut her own hand, causing blood to flow out from her hand. With my blood as the guide, create momentum. Chapter 161. After Red Lotus finished her incantation, the blood on her hand began to dissipate. At the same time, the aura in the air began to turn heavy. Red Lotus aura had returned to its peak. Sword resolve. Red Lotus shouted and grabbed with one hand. A long sword that seemed to be made of spiritual energy appeared in her hand. What? Sword resolve? How is this possible? How can there be such a high-level spell on this sealed planet? At this moment, Zhao Pan, who had a mocking expression on his face, could no longer smile when he saw the long sword in Red Lotus' hand. There was only incomparable shock and fear left in his heart. Logically speaking, it was impossible to transform one's aura into a sword. Moreover, aura was something that couldn't be seen or touched. But now, Red Lotus had effortlessly transformed it into a long sword. One could only imagine how powerful the long sword was. Zhao Pan, you forced me to do this. I originally thought that I would never use such a spell in my lifetime. But today, for you, I have broken the vow of many years. So you deserve to die, you deserve to die. At this moment, Red Lotus' eyes were crimson red. Her face was pale, but her aura was overbearing. So what if you can transform your aura into a sword? A loser will always be a loser. Saying that, the two of them moved. They collided with each other at an extremely fast speed. The swords in their hands also clashed. Bang! After the two of them collided, they separated once again. Just like that, they continued to exchange blows with each other. Law, compliance, order, extreme heavenly slaughter. At this moment, Red Lotus' sword suddenly transformed into a bow and arrow, automatically aiming at Zhao Pan. Puff! The bow and arrow shot out. The arrow didn't miss. It directly shot towards Zhao Pan. Boom! Zhao Pan was caught off guard. Although he managed to block Red Lotus' arrow, he also suffered considerable damage. He was sent flying by Red Lotus' arrow and landed on top of the Sea of Innocence, above the primordial fruit. Ha ha! Red Lotus, thank you for lending me a hand. He arrived above the primordial fruit and spoke to Hong Lian, who was 1,000 meters away. Then, he stretched out his hand towards the ripe primordial fruit. Zhao Pan, this primordial fruit is not only yours, it also belongs to us. Put down the primordial fruit and we will give you a chance to live. Otherwise, when the demons, monsters, and asuras saw the primordial fruits within Zhao Pan's reach, they couldn't hold themselves back any longer. They rushed forward and attacked Zhao Pan fiercely. A bunch of ants. After I pluck the primordial fruits, I'll personally send you to the 9 underworlds to repent. After saying that, Zhao Pan ignored the people who were rushing over. Instead, he reached out with one hand and plucked the primordial fruit. Then, he placed it in a jade box that he had prepared beforehand. Ha ha ha! I've finally obtained the primordial fruit. When the time comes, I'll be able to return to my previous level. I won't have to use my hands anymore. After plucking the primordial fruit, Zhao Pan recalled how he had to use the forbidden book given by his master to increase his cultivation. When he thought about the inhuman pain he had to endure every day, his heart was filled with fear. Ah! Zhao Pan, put down the primordial fruit or I'll kill you on the spot. While Zhao Pan was rejoicing, it wasn't just the other races. Even the flood dragons of the Sea of Innocence couldn't help but rush out. They roared at Zhao Pan and rushed towards him. Humph, a mere beast dares to act so impudently in front of me? Get lost. Zhao Pan's eyes turned sharp. He held the primordial fruit in one hand and used the other to slap the incoming flood dragon with quasi-revolution spirit energy. In an instant, a huge hand carrying a monstrous aura slapped towards the flood dragon. Boom! The flood dragon collided with the huge hand. However, it couldn't win against Zhao Pan and was sent flying into the sea without any further movement. Humph, do you still want to come forward? I can't guarantee that your bodies will be as tough as that beast's. After dealing with the flood dragon, Zhao Pan looked at the other races that were charging over. He used the flood dragon's fate as an example for them. Of course, as long as one was a human, as long as one was a living being, one would be afraid of death. As expected, as soon as Zhao Pan finished speaking, everyone froze in midair, exchanging glances with one another. Remember, Earth immortals are all ant. I'm not someone you can slander. With that, Zhao Pan prepared to leave with the primordial fruit. However, would Lin Rei, who came for the fruit in the first place, be willing to do so? Haha, everyone below Earth immortals are ants? I've never heard of this before. I only know that I'm the only one who can get the primordial fruit today. No one else is qualified to get it, let alone have the ability. Just as everyone thought that the outcome was certain, the Red Lotus Empress stepped forward to stop Zhao Pan. Unexpectedly, it was the middle-aged man who had been arguing with the blood ancestor. The Red Lotus Empress wanted very much to snatch the primordial fruit, but she had already used her power to transform into a sword. The only thing she could do now was to protect her own life. She didn't have the ability to do anything else. Who was I? It turns out that you're just a useless piece of trash. What? You can't even beat the blood ancestor, who is at the peak of the Mahayana realm. Are you trying to stop me now? Seeing Linli walk out, a puzzled look appeared on Zhao Pan's face, but the vigilance in his eyes increased somewhat. Like I said, I'm here for the primordial fruit. Besides, we still have an unfinished battle. Do you think I'll let you take the primordial fruit today? Lin Rei sneered as he looked at Zhao Pan. His face was full of disdain. What? Unfinished battle? You? Who are you? Upon hearing Linli's words, Zhao Pan hurriedly searched through his memories for Linli, but no matter how hard he searched, he couldn't find him. Humph, let's cut the crap. Leave the primordial fruit and scram. Otherwise, one of us will die today. Lin Rei's Emu sword of 10,000 arts appeared in his hand. Murderous intent burst out and the sword shone with a cold light, emitting a bloodthirsty glow. Then I'd like to see how strong you are. Let's see if you can keep me here without shame. Hearing this, Lin Rei knew that there would be a battle today. Looking at the primordial fruit in Zhao Pan's hand, Lin Rei didn't hesitate. He held the sword in front of his chest and placed his other hand on the sword's back. The spiritual energy in his body continuously transmitted into the Emu sword of 10,000 art. Third level incinerate, first level feather incinerate, activate. Lin Rei shouted. The third level incinerate that he had never used before was finally activated. Although this was his first time using it, Lin Rei was very familiar with it. Instantly, a powerful wave of spiritual energy, with Linli at the center, swept out in all directions. Those major races who had been watching the show without any warning were all blown off their feet by the wave of spiritual energy that Linli had emitted. The Emu sword of 10,000 arts directly charged at Zhao Pan with the first level of the third level incinerate. With a swish sound, an enormous amount of Qi training stage sword energy shot out from Linli's Everwood 10,000 Techniques sword, charging towards Zhao Pan. Humph, I don't believe a little cultivator who hasn't even reached the Earth immortal realm can have such a powerful attack. Although Zhao Pan felt the killing intent and pressure from Lin Rei's attack, He relied too much on his own power and was too arrogant. So he didn't use his full power. He slashed out with his sword and sent a powerful wave of spiritual energy towards Lin Rei. Boom! When the two attacks collided, Zhao Pan's originally smiling face instantly changed into one of incomparable shock. When the two attacks collided, Zhao Pan's attack, in front of Lin Li's incinerating feathers, couldn't even withstand a single blow. It was shattered, and Lin Li's incinerating feathers didn't slow down at all as it continued to charge towards Zhao Pan. How is this possible? How can a cultivator who hasn't even reached the Earth Immortal realm have such a powerful attack? Seeing the incoming attack, Zhao Pan hurriedly placed his weapon in front of him. Boom! The feather incinerate collided with Zhao Pan's sword and the immortal weapon began to shatter. Spiderweb-like cracks started to spread in all directions. As for the primal fruit in Zhao Pan's hands, under Lin Li's powerful attack, it was knocked out of his hands, falling downwards. Seeing this, Lin Li hurriedly chased after it. But of course, those spectators didn't dare to watch. A bunch of reckless fools. Since that's the case, don't blame this seat for going on a killing spree. Under extreme speed, Lin Rei finally obtained the primordial fruit he came here for. However, he didn't have the chance to admire its true appearance. After obtaining it, Lin Rei directly threw it into the system. Brat, hurry up and give me the primordial fruit. Otherwise, we'll definitely teach you a lesson. After arriving on the ground, Lin Rei revealed a look of disdain when he heard the words of these people. He looked at them and mocked, "How about this? Go and capture your mothers and sisters. Let me enjoy the pleasures of the boudoir. If possible, I'm very willing to give you the primordial fruit." Hearing Lin Rei's words, the crowd was instantly enraged. They all rushed forward, including Zhao Pan who had recovered from his shock. Looking at these beast-like people, their eyes were filled with endless greed and lust. Seeing this, Lin Rei knew that the slaughter was coming. He couldn't hide even if he wanted to. Since you're courting death, don't blame this seat. Looking at these people, Lin Rei didn't hesitate. He directly took out the 3 10,000 laws swords he obtained. The metal, wood, and fire swords were thrown into the air. Chapter 162. Azura Sword Formation. Azura Sword Formation. First, the sword is the base. My name is Azura, and with the sword as the guide, I set up the Azura Sword Formation. Using the Tao of Reincarnation, I exterminate all living beings. Activate. Instantly, the 3 10,000 arts swords that Lin Li had tossed into the air began to revolve around everyone present according to Lin Li's spiritual energy. Instantly, the scenery changed. The scenery, which had been filled with mountains, rivers, and trees, suddenly turned blood red. The ground was littered with severed limbs and blood, and the air was filled with a foul stench. As the scene changed, everyone present panicked, including Zhao Pan. He had tried to think of a way to leave the moment he entered, but it was to no avail. All spells were useless in here. The only thing that could be used was physical strength. Unless the person who set up the formation was willing to let you out, even Zhao Pan, who was an earthly immortal, could not walk out of here. Originally, I wanted to spare your lives. However, since you don't know what's good for you, I don't mind killing a little more. When Lin Rei saw that the Ashura sword formation had trapped all of them inside, Lin Rei's anxious heart finally relaxed. However, Lin Rei seemed to have forgotten about someone, Hong Lian. At this moment, Hong Lian lowered her head and looked at the young man who had saved her with a strange expression. Originally, she wasn't sure if the middle-aged man in front of her was Lin Rei, but he took out the violet gold 10,000 spells sword that he had given her before. In an instant, Red Lotus understood. Haha! I truly never expected that a cultivator at the Tribulation Transcendence realm like you would actually possess such great ability to trap the senses of an earthly immortal. Looks like I've underestimated you in the past. F***ck, I forgot about her. Lin Rei, who had been relieved, tensed up again after hearing Hong Lian's voice. Don't be nervous. I'm not your enemy. Back then, you were the one who saved me. I won't bite the hand that feeds me and do anything to you. Red Lotus, who was in the air, said to Lin Rei with a smile after sensing Lin Rei's state. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, Red Lotus' smile was undoubtedly a sign that she was about to make a move. Don't say that. The two of us no longer have anything to do with each other. Back then, I told you that it was only because I felt guilty towards Hong Lian who protected me. If I had known that you would be like this after recovering your memories, do you think I would have saved you? So we don't have to say that. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Hong Lian stopped smiling and looked at Lin Rei coldly. That's right, you're right. I think so too. However, all I want to say now is that if you give me the primordial fruit, I can guarantee that you'll be able to leave this place. However, if you hand it over, what will happen if I don't hand it over? Seeing the cold glint in Hong Lian's eyes, Lin Rei knew that if he didn't hand it over, he wouldn't be able to leave this place today. Why are you asking when you already know the answer? I only want the primordial fruit and have no intention of taking your life. So don't be so stingy. Just give it to me. Blurg, don't be like this. Even if I don't know how old you are, don't you know yourself? You're already an old monster from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Why are you still talking about me? I'm really. Hearing Hong Lian's words, Lin Rei hurriedly bent down and pretended to vomit. He had a look of disdain on his face as he spoke to Hong Lian. Since that's the case, there's no need to say anything more. Let's fight. Let me see what level your cultivation has reached after not seeing you for so long. After saying that, Hong Lian rushed towards Lin Rei with the 3-foot-long cold glint in her hand. Her eyes were filled with cold, killing intent, and killing intent continuously emanated from her body. Sure enough, since that's the case, let's fight. Seeing Red Lotus charge towards him, Lin Li no longer had anything to hide. Since she had already recognized him, there was no need for him to hide anything. Instantly, the invincible divine spear, which had been upgraded to the immortal tier, appeared in his hand. A cold glint flashed on the tip of the spear, and killing intent burst forth. With a cold gaze, he rushed forward and fought with Hong Lian. With a bang sound, Lin Li and Red Lotus collided against each other, and sparks flew from the collision of their weapons. Not bad. In such a short time, you were able to cultivate to this level. Moreover, your cultivation seems to have solidified a lot. However, if you want to use your current cultivation to kill me, try again in your next life. Hong Lian raised her sword and stabbed towards Lin Rei again. However, this time, she had used up all of her remaining spiritual energy. If this attack failed, she would only be at the mercy of others. Misty Cloud Mountain Art, freeze. Hong Lian's sword suddenly split into many sword shadows in the air. Moreover, after separating, the sword shadows all solidified. Each of them had the power of the first one. Since that's the case, let's fight to the end. Third level Incinerate Feathers, incinerate. Go. Seeing Red Lotus attack, Lin Li knew that this was Red Lotus' most powerful attack. Although Red Lotus was at the Earth Immortal level, in order to defeat Zhao Pan, she had already used a forbidden technique that she shouldn't have used. Thus, her current power was at a level where she was at her peak. Lin Li was confident in his own power. With a boom sound, the two attacks collided, but Lin Li had underestimated Red Lotus' attack. Some of the remnant sword shadows pierced straight through his own attack, piercing through him and charging towards him. Puff, puff. The sound of clothes and flesh being cut could be heard. At this moment, Lin Rei suffered an extremely powerful attack. What made Lin Rei think about was that when the sword shadows cut through his body, they actually entered his body and began to wreak havoc in his body. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out from Lin Rei's mouth. His legs went soft and he fell to the ground. With one hand on the ground, he used the other to wipe away the remaining bloodstains on the floor. Perhaps because of the sword energy wreaking havoc in his body, Lin Rei's face revealed a pained expression. Cough. 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 Ha 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 ha, I really didn't expect this. You actually used all of your spirit energy just to plant your misty sword energy in my body. At this moment, Lin Rei finally understood why Hong Lian was like this. It was because the sword energy could only be removed by the user. Coincidentally, Hong Lian's sword energy was like this. If she planted it in Lin Rei's body, then wouldn't Lin Rei obediently listen to her? Ah, no. That's right, but I had no other choice. I want the primordial fruit. As long as you give it to me, I guarantee that I can remove the sword energy in your body and guarantee that you can leave. Hong Lian's expression changed after seeing Lin Rei explain her scheme so easily. However, she quickly recovered. Then you think too much. I've never been threatened by anyone, including my own life, because I don't like the feeling of being controlled by others. With that, Lin Rei slowly stood up with the help of the martial emperor godly spear, and came to Hong Lian's side. His eyes were full of love as he looked at Hong Lian and said, "This is the second time and also the last time. Of course, I will still take you away from this planet, but we will have nothing to do with each other in the future." After saying these words, the love in Lin Li's eyes slowly disappeared until there was nothing left. Aside from his cold gaze, there was nothing left. Why? Why are you doing this to me? I clearly want to kill you. Why do you have to let me go again and again? Is it because I loved you and saved you when I lost my memory? At this moment, Hong Lian's face was full of confusion. She couldn't understand Lin Rei's feelings. Ah, you can put it that way. However, it's all gone now. Even if the old Hong Lian appeared in front of me again, it's impossible because I promised a woman that I would protect her, love her, and give her the best in the world for the rest of my life. So, it doesn't matter anymore. After saying that, Lin Rei turned around and walked into the Ashura sword formation without looking back. His eyes were filled with murderous intent and his face was filled with a ferocious expression that made people tremble. Ah, the killing has begun. When he arrived in front of the Ashura sword formation, the corner of Lin Rei's mouth twitched. He stuck out his tongue and licked the tip of the martial emperor godly spear. With a bloodthirsty expression, he said to the people in the sword formation. Then, he stepped forward and disappeared into the sword formation. When Lin Rei arrived in the sword formation, he saw those who wanted to kill him sitting on the ground and chatting idly. For a moment, the desire to kill filled his mind. Lin Rei walked forward quickly. The martial emperor godly spear seemed to be alive as it gently slid across the necks of those people. Suddenly, the people present lost their senses. Now, Lin Rei was like a butcher, and the people in the sword formation were pigs on the chopping board. They could only wait to be slaughtered without being able to fight back. Die, all of you! Slowly, the number of people in the sword formation began to dwindle. In the end, when the only one left was Zhao Pan, Lin Li awoke from his murderous trance. Turning around, Lin Rei saw the corpses of the cultivators who were killed by his murderous intent lying on the ground. Seeing all this, he felt a faint sadness in his heart. He didn't know why, but when he saw so many people die in his hands, Lin Rei's heart was filled with sorrow. However, when he killed them, he felt nothing but excitement. You're Lin Rei? At this moment, Lin Rei came in front of Zhao Pan. Zhao Pan recognized the martial emperor godly spear in Lin Rei's hand. His face changed dramatically and his eyes were filled with fear. He believed that the people who died here had no grudge against Lin Rei, but the grudge between him and Lin Rei had been there for a long time. Chapter 163. Heh! It's not too late to be an outsider. Like I said, there are new debts and old grudges between us. Let's settle them together today. Looking at the terrified Zhao Pan, Lin Rei was delighted. He raised the martial Emperor Divine Spear and thrust it at Zhao Pan. Humph, even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. At this moment, Zhao Pan was driven mad by Lin Rei. When he saw the martial Emperor Divine Spear in front of him, Zhao Pan quickly dodged to the side. With my blood, break the boundary and sacrifice. Zhao Pan chanted an incantation. After the incantation, one of Zhao Pan's hands suddenly ruptured. Blood slowly flowed out and dripped onto the Ashura sword formation. Rumble! Rumble! Suddenly, after Zhao Pan's incantation landed on the sword formation began to show signs of breaking. Seeing this, Lin Rei didn't have time to wait. Otherwise, he would be the one to die today. Even when you're about to die, you still have to make such a big commotion. Looks like you really deserve to die. After speaking, Lin Li once more aimed his spear at Zhao Pan. But this time, unlike last time, Lin Li's spear truly pierced through Zhao Pan's body. In addition, Lin Li could sense that Zhao Pan's life force was slowly fading away. Today is the day we settle our grudges. Not only that, I believe that not long after, the immortal sects of the immortal world will also come looking for you. When that time comes, I will let you all reunite. After saying that, Lin Rei thrust his spear again. This time, Lin Rei aimed directly at Zhao Pan's head. Suddenly, a white substance flowed out from Zhao Pan's head along with Lin Rei's martial Emperor Divine Spear. The scene was particularly dazzling. Looking at the corpse on the ground, Lin Rei's heart suddenly brightened. Perhaps it was because of Zhao Pan's death and the aftermath of his defeat. Ashura sword formation, origin of 10,000 arts, collect. At this moment, after Lin Rei saw that everything in the Ashura sword formation had been settled, he directly chanted an incantation. Then, the 3 myriad law swords instantly returned to Lin Rei's hand. Phew, finally, everything is over. I thought that there would be a lot of trouble this time. Although things didn't go so smoothly, at least I didn't lose my life here. Turning around, Lin Rei looked at the dispirited Hong Lian sitting on the ground and sighed inwardly before walking over. Sigh. Red Lotus, there's nothing more to say today. As for the primordial fruit, I really can't give it to you. I won't kill you. Don't be so nice to me. Even if you don't kill me now, I definitely won't do this to you. If you take away the primordial fruit today, I think I'll snatch it back in the future. At that time, can't I guarantee that I won't take your life? At this moment, Hong Lian, who was sitting on the ground, spoke to Lin Li with a cold look in her eyes after hearing Lin Li's words. Sigh. So be it. Dark group. Looking at Hong Lian's appearance, Lin Rei sighed and shouted towards the sky. Immediately, a group of people appeared in front of Lin Rei and knelt on the ground respectfully. We, the 20 members of the Dark Group, pay our respects to the Sect Master. May I know when the Sect Master would like us to do something? The sudden appearance of this group of people shocked Red Lotus, who was sitting on the ground. This was because he could sense that the 20 or so people in front of him were all transcending tribulation cultivators. What shocked Red Lotus even more was that these people were all kneeling on the ground to greet Lin Li as their Sect Master. Sect Master, which sect are you from? I remember that all the sects in the Tianxian continent have submitted to the might of our Red Lotus Empire. At this moment, the more she thought about it, the more frightened she became. If a sect that hadn't been discovered yet had 20 or so tribulation passing stage cultivators, how powerful would this sect be? I'll send 5 of you. The rest of you leave on your own. Looking at the dark group in front of him, Lin Rei didn't waste any time and directly ordered them. Yes, we'll follow the sect master's orders. After hearing the order, the 20 members of the dark group discussed and sent 5 of their people to stay on the spot. The rest of them followed Lin Rei's orders and left directly. The few of you, take this woman and leave this place quickly. Then, put her in the imperial palace of the Red Lotus Empire and leave as soon as possible. I don't feel at ease with her. At the same time, I don't want anything to happen to any of you. You're all pillars of the sect." When they heard Lin Ray's words, the 5 of them felt warmth in their hearts and said gratefully to Lin Ray, "Yes, we'll follow the sect master's orders. We'll definitely send this lady safely to the imperial palace of the Red Lotus Empire. By the way, if you go back this time, don't come back. After you go back, tell those little brats of mine to cultivate well and not to be lazy. If I find out that they're slacking off, I won't let them go. Also, pass down my orders that the entire sect will go into seclusion and not be active outside. Especially tell Hei Long that in the days when I'm not around, if anyone who doesn't know dares to trespass the sect's encampment, he'll kill them without mercy, no matter who they are." Of course, Lin Ray didn't say this sentence out loud. Instead, he directly transmitted it to the 5 members of the dark group. "Yes, we'll follow the sect master's orders. You may leave." After explaining everything clearly, Lin Ray let them leave. However, before they left, Red Lotus didn't give up and asked, "Tell me, what's the name of your sect? Why didn't I know that there was such a powerful sect in the Tianqian continent?" Looking at Red Lotus' puzzled expression, Lin Ray smiled coldly and said, "Haha, I just want to say that if my sect wants to rule the entire Tianqian continent, it'll be done in a matter of minutes. So, don't start any more wars. It's better to let your people cultivate well. Remember, there's always someone better than you." After speaking, the 5 members of the dark group left with Red Lotus. Lin Ray remained where he was. He didn't put away the martial Emperor Divine's spear in his hand. Instead, he gripped it even tighter. "Your Excellency, you've heard what you should and shouldn't have heard. When are you going to show yourself?" At this time, Jean Jia looked in the direction of the Sea of Innocence and suddenly said in a trembling voice, as if he was very afraid. It turned out that after Lin Ray came out of the Shura sword formation, he thought that the matter was over. He didn't expect that there was an even bigger boss waiting for him. "Ha, human, you're not bad. You're able to detect my aura. That's amazing." As soon as Linley finished speaking, a figure emerged from the Sea of Innocence, treading on the surface of the water. This was a middle-aged man. His face was dignified, and he was dressed in luxurious robes. In his hands was a trident which very few people used, and on his head was a jeweled crown. Although he wasn't very good-looking, the aura emanating from this middle-aged man was not to be underestimated. You're the real guardian of the primordial fruit, aren't you? That flood dragon was just an illusion you released. Am I right?" Looking at the middle-aged man, Lin Ray was once again reminded of the flood dragon that was knocked out by Zhao Pan's slap. Lin Ray's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with vigilance and his body involuntarily made a defensive move. "Haha, young man, you're really good. I'm the real companion of the primordial fruit and also its owner. That flood dragon was just a temporary guard for me. However, I've only left for a while and you've already obtained the thing I've been guarding. What do you think I should do to you? Kill you directly or trap you and torture you slowly? I believe you won't give it back so easily, so I plan to capture you and torture you slowly. For so many years, I've always caught some creatures from the bottom of the sea to play with. Today I'll change it." Hearing the middle-aged man's words, Lin Ray couldn't help but tremble. He looked at him with fear in his eyes and couldn't help but ask curiously, "Since that's the case, I presume Senior's cultivation must have reached divine transcendence. May I know Senior's current cultivation?" "Haha, it seems like you still want to fight with me. Very well, I'll let you know my cultivation and then slowly play with you." Hearing Linley's words, the middle-aged man smiled slightly, then explained his cultivation level. "My cultivation level is the same as that of the woman you sent away earlier. I'm at the peak of the earthly immortal stage, but I've lived for even longer than her. In addition, the primal fruit in your hands was prepared for me to become a celestial immortal. Hiss! Hearing the middle-aged man's words, Zhou Bao's heart was filled with doubt. At the same time, he began to think of a way to escape from this place, to escape from this dangerous place. Don't think about it. This place has been sealed by my magic art. Unless you have the same cultivation as me, don't think about anything else. Just stay here quietly and wait for me to trample on you. After the middle-aged man guessed Lin Rei's thoughts, he smiled and walked toward Lin Rei. Even if I die, I'll give it my all. Otherwise, I won't be satisfied even if I die. Holding the martial Emperor Divine spear in his hand, cold sweat flowed down his forehead. He was terrified, but his eyes were full of fighting spirit. The blood in his body was boiling for this battle. All right, I'll give you a chance to attack. Seeing Lin Rei's expression, the middle-aged man directly stretched out his hand and used it as a weapon to block Lin Rei's attack. System, don't play dead. Hurry up and see if there's any way to escape. Maybe there's something in the store that can help me escape. As long as I can buy it now, don't talk nonsense and just buy it. Lin Rei asked the system for help in his heart. On the surface, he held the martial Emperor Divine spear and rushed toward the middle-aged man. Chapter 164. Spear Execution, Azura Thrust. The martial Emperor Godly spear in Linley's hand was surging with powerful energy. It was transmitted from Linley's hand to the martial Emperor Godly spear. In an instant, the martial Emperor Godly spear appeared in front of the martial Emperor Godly companion and stabbed him. Haha! Are you looking down on me too much? Or are you overestimating yourself? Do you think you can hurt me with just this little bit of power? Without any spiritual energy, the companion's hand grabbed the tip of Linley's martial Emperor Godly spear and stopped it in midair. The spiritual energy on the tip of the spear was also destroyed by the companion's hand. What? Seeing this, Linley was shocked. Even if his fleshly body was at the peak of the prized artifact tier, there was no way he could do something like this. The only possibility was an immortal tier fleshly body. Hiss! Thinking of this, Linley took a deep breath, his face full of disbelief as he stared at his companion. You already have an immortal artifact body? Haha, you're right. I do have the level you mentioned, but do you think I need to use it to deal with you? Ha! The companion let out a loud roar and directly grabbed Linley's martial Emperor Godly spear and tossed it into the distance. Boom! 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 When Lin Rei reappeared, he was already 100 meters away. The place where Lin Rei was standing had been dug into a large pit. Cough! 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 Haha, your body is not bad either. A cultivator who can cultivate their body to this level is also at the level of a monster. However, it is very easy for a monster to die prematurely. Seeing Lin Rei walk out of the pit unscathed, the companion's eyes widened in surprise. He nodded at Lin Rei and praised. Haha, cough. Haha, no matter how strong I am still not as strong as you are now. At this moment, Lin Rei's eyes were no longer like before. They were filled with disdain for Lin Rei. His expression was solemn, and his eyes were filled with battle intent as he looked at his companions. So what if you're strong? Didn't you just live a few 100,000 years earlier than me? The results are not out yet, so it's not certain who will win in the end. Boom! Lin Rei unleashed all of his cultivation base, including his prized artifact fleshly body and the immortal tier magic robes and battle armor that he had put away earlier. In an instant, Lin Rei's aura reached its peak, nearly bursting off the charts. I really didn't expect a cultivator who hasn't even reached the Mahayana stage to be able to use a piece of immortal-grade equipment right off the bat. Looks like I've underestimated you. When the companion saw Linley's aura rise and the light around his body grow brighter, he was even more shocked. However, behind the shock was greed. He was greedy for the immortal artifact in Linley's hands. Looks like I'll have to take this seriously. Having said that, the companion took out his weapon. A trident appeared in front of Lin Ray's eyes. In the past hundreds of thousands of years, you are the first person to make me draw my weapon. Of course, this does not represent how powerful your cultivation base is. Rather, it is because of the immortal artifacts on your body. Only my trident is worthy of them. Whoosh! After the companion finished speaking, he disappeared in the next moment. When he reappeared, he was leaning on Lin Ray's back. Humph, how can a little cultivator have such good equipment? You might as well give it to me so that I can break the seal of this planet. Oh, that depends on whether you can do it or not. Sensing the threat from behind, Linley turned around and used the martial Emperor Godly Spear to block the trident that was chopping towards him. Dong! The sound of weapons clashing reverberated with the two as the center. The sound was deafening, carrying bursts of pressure and destructive aura. Ha ha, not bad. You're not bad at all. It's been a long time since I met such an opponent. You have an opponent for me. Oh? Is that so? But I don't think you're a match for me. I just think that you're just a stepping stone on my path to growth. Having said that, the two of them began their real battle. Lin Ray didn't often encounter this kind of battle. Apart from the time when he wasn't as strong as Zhao Pan, this was the second time Lin Ray felt the thrill of battle. Ding dong. Host, I do have the thing you mentioned, but it's very expensive. Are you sure you want to buy it? Just as Lin Ray and his companion were in a heated battle, the system's voice suddenly sounded. However, it was indeed the voice that Lin Ray wanted to hear the most right now. Although he was very excited about this battle, he was still very self-aware. If he continued to fight like this, he would definitely die. After all, not only was there a gap in cultivation, even the physical body that he was most proud of was an insurmountable gap. Tell me, what is it? How many exchange points and reputation points do I need? As long as I have it, exchange it for me. At this moment, Lin Ray was fighting with his companion in reality while talking to the system. If his companion knew about this, he would definitely think that Lin Ray was insulting him. It's nothing. It's just a teleportation array. But the difference is that it can travel infinitely, but it will consume your high-grade spirit stones to break through. This isn't a small amount, and the price to exchange for it is very high. If you add all your exchange points and reputation points, you can barely exchange for it. Haha, alright. Since I can exchange for it, I'll hurry up and exchange it. I'm afraid that I won't be able to hold on for long before it's too late. After hearing the system's result, Lin Ray was overjoyed. The last bit of worry in his heart was gone. No, I still need one more thing. Lin Ray was originally happy when he heard the system's link, but when he heard the latter part of the system's words, his originally smiling face collapsed. What is it? Didn't you just say that all my belongings can be bought? Why is it like this now? It's not difficult. You just have to agree to the system. No, you can't say that you agree. Just treat it as a mission issued by the system. When you return to your original world, it won't be like the previous one. There's a time limit. You can only stay in that world for 10 years. If it's longer, the system will give you a punishment. I believe that the system doesn't need to say it. Host, you should know what it is. F***ck, you're robbing a burning house, do you know that? Hearing the system's condition, Lin Ray was completely speechless. He thought that the system would say something, but he didn't expect it to be for this. Yes, this is it. You have to agree to it whether you want to or not. However, the system is sticking to you. You can choose. F***ck. You're causing trouble. I agree. I'll only stay in the 21st century for 10 years. Hurry up and give me the thing. If I die, don't mention 10 years, you'll have to die with me. At this moment, Lin Ray no longer hesitated and directly roared angrily at the system in his heart. Alright, the teleportation array is now in your storage ring. As long as you want to use it, just take it out and take out the corresponding spirit stones. However, a reminder to the host, the teleportation is not directional. As for the specific location of the teleportation, the system does not know. After speaking, the system disappeared as usual. Lin Ray was speechless. He had already cursed the system to death. Haha, come on. The crazy battle is coming to an end. Life or death depends on this move. After confirming that his life was not in danger, the crazy will in Lin Ray's bones awakened. In an instant, he fought even more crazily than before and attacked the companion. Stop struggling. No matter how hard you try, you can't escape the gap between us. At this time, the companion saw Lin Ray's madness and thought that Lin Ray was making a final struggle. His face showed disdain and ridicule as he spoke to Lin Ray. Level 3 Incinerate Heaven's Extremity, Illusory Spirit Blood Fire, Fall Kill. In an instant, Lin Ray made a final struggle. This time, Lin Ray used the most powerful martial technique he had learned in the past few years. In addition to the illusory spirit blood fire that he had always been proud of, the martial Emperor Divine Spear drove the martial technique directly to the companion. This time, the companion was still as confident in his cultivation and strength as before. However, in the next moment, everything changed. Lin Ray's long spear, along with the illusory spirit blood fire, pierced the companion's body without any hindrance. The companion spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes full of disbelief. How did you do it? You can't break my defense. How did you? As he spoke, he spat out another mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale and his body trembled involuntarily. It was unknown whether it was because of excitement or because Lin Ray's martial Emperor Divine Spear was still stuck in his body. I've already said that it's not certain who will live and who will die in the end, but now it seems that I won't die. Although I know that this spear can't kill you, the pill fire of a heaven-level alchemist won't be so easy to bear. What? Hearing Lin Ray's words, the companion was even more surprised and looked at Lin Ray with a frightened expression on his face. Explode. Boom! Just after Lin Ray's shout, a blood-red flame spread out from the companion's body. Goodbye, you can slowly enjoy yourself here. I won't play with you here. At this moment, Lin Ray was also an arrow at the end of its flight. Previously, he had forcibly withstood Honglian's sword chi, and now the sword chi was still raging in his body. Then, he was attacked by his companion. Now, his injuries were piled on top of his injuries, and his body was riddled with holes. It would probably take a long time for him to recover. After speaking, Lin Ray took out the teleportation formation from his storage ring. Looking back at his companion who was being tortured by the illusory spirit blood fire, Lin Ray pursed his lips and smiled. Then, he took out tens of thousands of upper-grade spirit stones and threw them all into the teleportation formation. Swish! The teleportation array flashed with profound light as it was activated. Linley didn't even look back as he stepped into it. But right at this moment, the companions seemed to have gone mad, wildly attacking Linley, who only had half a body left. Chapter 165. You little bastard, even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. I want you to live a life where you don't know who you are for the rest of your life. I want you to live aimlessly, painfully, and unbearably. When Linley heard his companion's words, he stuck his head out of the teleportation array and looked at his companion in confusion, not understanding the meaning behind his words. In the name of my true form, I offer a sacrifice. Seal, 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 seal. His eyes turned crimson, his face twisted, and he carried an aura of remorse. After chanting an incantation, the companion's body began to shrink and shrivel up. In the end, the companion's body completely disappeared. However, just as the companion disappeared, a halo of light appeared from where he had disappeared and shot towards Linley. The halo was so fast that Lin Ray sensed that something was wrong the moment he saw it. His first reaction was to turn around and rush back into the teleportation portal. But Lin Ray underestimated the halo's speed and power. At the last moment before Lin Ray entered the teleportation portal, the halo shot directly into his mind. Instantly, as soon as the light entered Linley's mind, Linley lost all feeling in his body. The teleportation array had already been activated, and Linley's body disappeared from the teleportation array. At the edge of the Sea of Innocence, everything returned to peace, returning to normal, as if it had never been this peaceful before. Swish, swish. A dozen figures suddenly appeared at the edge of the Sea of Innocence. The person in the lead walked out and said to the others with a look of horror, "Everyone, Sect leader has gone missing. This is the biggest disaster for the Xuanzong Sect. We must inform every division of the Sect immediately and have them send people to search the entire Tianxian continent. As for the rest of you, follow me and search the sea." This group of people was the dark operation that Lin Ray had asked them to hide. When they saw Lin Ray disappear, they were all dumbfounded. "Yes, we will report this to the Dark Dragon Enforcer and the other divisions and have them send people out." Hearing the leader's arrangement, the three dark group members walked out and said something to the leader. Then, they quickly flew towards the Xian sect in the west. The few of them disappeared into the horizon like flowing light. "The rest of you, follow me and search for the sect leader overseas." According to the item the sect leader used, it seems to be some kind of teleportation portal. There's no guarantee that the sect leader will be stranded overseas. At this moment, the leader told the rest of the plan according to his analysis and asked for their agreement. "Yes, we'll listen to our leader. However, the Sea of Innocence is a forbidden area in the Tianxian continent. Even a Mahayana realm cultivator might not be able to travel on the sea. With our insignificant cultivation base, I'm afraid." At this moment, one of the Dark Dragon Enforcers stepped out and said worriedly, "Don't say such things in the future. Sect Master gave us a chance to be reborn. If it wasn't for Sect Master taking us in, do you think that we would have been chased and beaten by others when we were begging outside? Even if we could use our lives to exchange for Sect Master's return, it would still be a good thing." At this moment, when the Dark Dragon Enforcers heard the leader's words, their eyes flashed with sadness. But when they remembered that it was Lin Ray who saved them, the sadness in their eyes disappeared and was replaced by the determination to find Lin Ray. Even if they had to die, they would be willing to do so. "All right, we are willing to follow the leader overseas to search for the sect leader. If we can't find the sect leader, we will not return." "Good, you're ambitious. Since the cultivators have agreed, let's set out." Having said that, the leader took to the air and flew towards the depths of the Sea of Innocence. Everyone who saw this scene looked at each other in unison, then followed behind. From then on, there was an indestructible team on the sea. People called them the gods of innocence, but wherever they passed, there would be rivers of blood. Of course, those who died were the ferocious beasts of the Sea of Innocence. The person who was sent by the leader to report back to the sect only returned to the sect a month later without stopping. At this moment, after the three Dark Dragon Enforcers returned to the sect, they immediately went to the Cloud Pagoda to pay a visit to the Dark Dragon. The three of them arrived at the Cloud Pagoda and spoke to the Cloud Pagoda's Artifact Spirit. "Artifact Spirit, I'll have to trouble you to call the Dark Dragon Enforcers. Tell them that the Dark Dragon Enforcers have an urgent matter and request an audience." "Yes, please wait for a moment. I will summon the Dark Dragon for you." After hearing the three from the Dark Tribe, he agreed and drove to the place where Hei Long was cultivating. He said to Hei Long, who was in the middle of cultivating, "Dark Dragon, wake up! The Dark Dragon Enforcers outside request an audience. They say they have an urgent matter to report. What is it? Didn't I say it already? Don't bother me when I'm in seclusion. At this moment, the Dark Dragon Enforcers frowned and spoke with a displeased expression. Swish. After Hei Long finished complaining, he disappeared from the spot. When he reappeared, he was already behind the 3 members of the Dark Group. So the 3 of you have an urgent matter to report to me? In front of the Cloud Pagoda, he saw that the 3 Dark Dragon Enforcers were in the transcending tribulation stage. He knew that there must be an urgent matter. Otherwise, he wouldn't be waiting here as a transcending tribulation stage cultivator. Ah, yes. Yes, the 3 of us are the people the Sect Master took with him when he went out. This time, we came back to report the matter of the Sect Master's disappearance to the Enforcers. The matter is urgent and we didn't intend to disturb the Enforcers. Please forgive us. Although the 3 of them were transcending tribulation stage cultivators, they were used to seeing the Dark Dragon Enforcers due to their lack of cultivation. What? The Sect Master is missing? You're saying Lin Ray is missing? The Dark Dragon Enforcers stared blankly for a moment before speaking in astonishment. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Yes, it's like this. Back then, the Sect Master took us to the Sea of Innocence. When we, later, after Red Lotus left, a man suddenly walked out of the Sea of Innocence and fought with the Sect Master. The Sect Master, who was initially no match for the Sect Master, managed to severely injure the man with his spear. The Sect Master then took out an unknown item that looked like a teleportation array. However, the man risked his life to launch a final attack that hit the Sect Master. After that, the Sect Master disappeared. After waiting for a long time, one of the Dark Dragon Enforcers explained the cause and effect of the matter to the Dark Dragon Enforcers. Oh, is that so? The Dark Dragon Enforcer's report startled him at first, but he soon regained his composure. In his mind, Lin Ray was not someone who didn't have a backup plan. But when he heard that the final attack might have seriously injured Lin Ray, the Dark Dragon Enforcers became anxious. Go and pass on my order. Ask all the cultivators above the body integration stage to move out and find the Sect Master, even if they have to turn the entire Tianxian continent upside down. As for the cultivators below the body integration stage, let them train in the Cloud Tower in the Sect so that they can improve themselves as soon as possible. As for Dian Wei and Bai Qi, let them continue searching for orphans on the Tianxian continent and bring them back to the Sect so that we can strengthen ourselves. Also, tell Ming and Tianyun to lead their men to search for the Sect Master's whereabouts. No matter what method they use, even if they have to flatten the entire profound sky continent, they must find Lin Ray. Do you understand? Also, tell your Dark Dragon Enforcers. Although I don't have the right to order them, as long as they are from the same division, I believe they will listen to you. Tell them to guard the Sea of Innocence at all costs and wait for the Sect Master's appearance. After hearing Black Dragon's orders, the 3 men who were standing in place immediately went to inform the various divisions. In an instant, the entire 9 heavens Xuanzong sect heard about this matter. The sect was shaken and the various divisions were unable to rest. Within a day, the bustling sect instantly quieted down. According to Black Dragon's orders, all the cultivators above the combination realm went out to search for Lin Ray. As for the cultivators below the combination realm, they all entered the Cloud Pagoda and began a long period of closed-door cultivation. Of course, it was impossible for Bing to not know about Lin Ray's disappearance. After that, with Bing's cultivation at the peak of the tribulation stage, no one could stop him except for Black Dragon. However, Black Dragon didn't do so because he knew that among these people, Bing was the one who was most qualified to go out and search for Lin Ray. After making all the arrangements, Black Dragon left the Xuanzong sect's encampment that he hadn't left for a long time and began his journey to search for Lin Ray on the Tianxian continent. On the Tianxian continent, everyone discovered that more than 1,000 cultivators above the combination realm had suddenly appeared on the Tianxian continent. No one could find out their origins. They seemed to have appeared out of thin air without any information. However, their strength was so powerful that it was terrifying. Even Red Lotus began to suspect that these people could be Lin Rei, the mysterious person she felt. She was the first to arrive here. Cold sweat broke out on Red Lotus' back. After the Xuanzong Sect's people moved out, the 5 disciples sent by Lin Rei also learned that their master Lin Rei was seriously injured and had gone missing. They also began a frantic search. No matter who it was, anyone who saw them would be captured and interrogated. The mysterious heavenly continent, which had been unified and stable by the empire of public transport, fell into chaos again because of the sudden appearance of more than 1,000 unknown cultivators. Red Lotus was furious when she saw this scene, but there was nothing she could do because she didn't know how many people like them were behind them. She didn't dare to act rashly because of Lin Rei. Chapter 166. The people of the Xuanzong sect were searching for Lin Rei in every corner of the mysterious sky continent. At this moment, Lin Rei was lying on the bed with his eyes closed and his face pale. Naturally, he wasn't wearing the clothes he wore when he entered the teleportation formation. At this moment, he was wearing clothes that looked like ancient linen. The door was pushed open with a creak. A girl who wasn't particularly good-looking, but could be considered strong and handsome, walked in. She was about the same age and looked to be about 17 or 18 years old. The girl leisurely walked to Lin Rei's side. She placed the cup in her hand on a nearby tree stump, then sat down beside Lin Rei. Looking at the pale Lin Rei, the girl revealed a sad expression and sighed. "Sigh. When will you wake up? You've been in a coma for almost 3 months. Ever since you suddenly appeared in our village covered in blood, we thought you were a bad guy. After that, no one cared where you lay for a few days. When the village chief finally agreed to save you, he pulled you back. It's been 3 months and you haven't shown any reaction at all. I really don't know if you can wake up or not." It turned out that Lin Rei had lost consciousness after being hit by the halo emitted by his companions. He was directly teleported to an isolated island in the depths of the Sea of Innocence by the teleportation formation. At some point in time, people had been stationed here on this isolated island. Later on, they had formed a village and had lived there ever since. But suddenly, one day, a blood-soaked Linley had suddenly descended from the skies. When the villagers saw this, they all thought that he was a bad person, and so they didn't lend a helping hand. But after a few days, the oldest elder of the village finally couldn't help but rescue Linley and bring him back. After carrying Lin Rei to his room, the old man ordered his only granddaughter to bathe and treat Lin Rei. She took care of him for 3 months. During these 3 months, the girl came back every day to bathe Lin Rei and feed him medicine. As the saying goes, even a dog would develop feelings after 3 months of raising it, let alone a person. During these 3 months, the girl took care of Lin Rei meticulously. In the end, she fell in love with Lin Rei, who she had been taking care of all this time. 17 years old was the time for a girl to choose a partner. Moreover, the girl had to bathe Lin Rei every day. Tonight, when she was feeding Lin Rei medicine and bathing him again, the girl came to Lin Rei's room as promised. When she saw that Lin Rei was still unconscious, the girl couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Then, she began to bathe Lin Rei. "Sigh. Little brother, do you know? This is the first time I've had a man other than my grandfather. I don't know when, but I started to care about you. Slowly, I started to care about when you could wake up and talk to me." As the girl spoke, she carried Lin Rei to the bathing area. Then, she began to slowly take off Lin Rei's clothes and put Lin Rei in the bathwater. In these 3 months, the girl had done this countless times. Therefore, the girl was now immune to it. Looking at Lin Rei lying in the bathwater, The girl took a rough item that looked like a scrub and rubbed it on Lin Ray's body. Her movements were very gentle, as if she had already used all her strength to hurt Lin Ray. Looking at Lin Ray lying in the water, the girl couldn't help but be stunned. "Little brother, can you wake up? I really want you to talk to me." "Yes, who's talking?" At this moment, Lin Ray was running around aimlessly in the misty space. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in his ears. In an instant, Lin Ray was stunned. Gradually, Lin Ray uncontrollably returned to reality. He felt his body cooling and a hand groping his body. In an instant, Lin Ray opened his eyes abruptly. Glancing around, Linley saw that in this unfamiliar environment, there was a woman who didn't seem to be in a good mood, but had a pair of watery eyes. She was carefully wiping his body. Linley was stunned. "Little brother, I really want to." Just as the girl was speaking to Linley, she raised her head and saw that the person who had been unconscious for a long time was staring at her with his eyes wide open. Instantly, the girl stood up, her face red with embarrassment, and ran outside, calling out to the people outside. "Grandpa! Grandpa, come and take a look. The person you saved is awake. Grandpa! Grandpa, come and take a look. You saved?" Looking at the girl who ran out, Lin Ray was stunned. At this moment, Lin Ray's mind was very fuzzy. The first question he asked when he woke up was, "Who am I?" Then, a lot of questions popped up. Who am I? Where am I? What happened to me? Where's my family? A series of questions popped up in the boy's mind, but he couldn't find an answer. In the end, Lin Ray gave up when he couldn't figure it out. "Haha, little friend, how do you feel? Are you feeling better?" Just as Lin Ray was in a daze, a white-haired old man walked in from the door. When he saw that Lin Ray was really awake, some warm and considerate words blended into Lin Ray's mind. "Old Grandpa, I'm fine. It's just a little. Oh, what's wrong?" Hearing Lin Ray's words, the old man quickly came forward and began to examine Lin Ray in all aspects. "No. Actually, it's nothing. It's just that I don't seem to remember what happened before. Now, in my mind, there's nothing except for the girl beside you. I don't know if Grandpa knows where I'm from. Where is my home? Who is it? Ugh. This old man doesn't know either. When I saved you back then, you had nothing on you. Other than your body being covered in blood, you were also covered in wounds. However, when you were unconscious, those wounds healed on their own. Now, they are almost healed. It's just that you lost too much blood, so your body is a little weak." Oh, so that's the case. Originally, he thought that the old man who saved him might know about his background. But now, it seems that there's no hope. Thinking of this, Lin Ray's face showed a trace of disappointment. "Well, since you don't remember who you are, why don't we just take things as they come? Since you don't have a name now, you don't have to follow mine. Anyway, you don't know who you are now, so I can't keep calling you little doll." Hearing the old man's explanation, Lin Ray nodded. After all, the old man was right. Since he didn't remember who he was, then it was better to live a good life here. "Okay, then thank you, Grandpa." That's right. Since you agreed, then take this old man's surname. This old man's surname is Jean. Why don't you call yourself Jean Rouet? Rouet as in auspicious, okay." The old man's face was happy. Lin Ray didn't refuse and directly agreed. "Okay, Grandpa, I'll take your surname from now on. I'll be called Jean Rouet." Why are you still calling me Grandpa? Since you already know my surname is Jean, why can't you call me Grandpa?" After hearing the old man's words, Lin Ray helplessly shook his head and said with a smile, I can afford it, Grandpa." "Hey, is that right? I also have a grandson. Let's see if this old man still laughs at me in the future." When the old man finished speaking and saw Lin Ray, Jean Rouet, again, he instantly became stupefied. At this time, Jean Rouet had already fainted in the water. "Ah, Brother Rouet, what happened to Brother Rouet?" At this moment, the girl who was standing at the side hurriedly rushed over and helped Linley up, placing him on the bed. Grandpa! Grandpa, quickly take a look. What happened to Brother Rue? Why did he faint again? After helping Lin Ray to the bed, the girl hurriedly went to the old man's side and asked anxiously, "Io Linger, look at you. When I was sick, why didn't you care about me like this? How long has this kid been here? Since you took care of him so meticulously, tell me, are you—" "Ah, Grandpa, don't talk nonsense. I was just following your order to take care of him." After saying that, she walked out. When she ran to the door, the girl couldn't help but shout to the old man, "Grandpa, remember to take care of Brother Rue. It's late, I'm going to sleep." Her voice gradually disappeared. The old man looked at his granddaughter, who ran out with a worried face. He went to Jean Rouet's side to check if there was anything wrong with him, and left. Sigh. The moment the door closed, Jean Rouet, who was originally unconscious, woke up. Sigh. What the hell happened? Why can't I remember who I am? Who am I? At this time, as long as Jean Rouet slept, the boy would have these questions lingering in his mind. Sigh. Forget it, maybe this is God's will to let me relive it all over again? Perhaps those memories from before weren't very good memories. After that, a feeling of exhaustion crept into his heart. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. This sleep was very sweet. It wasn't until noon the next day that Lin Ray woke up from his sleep. Lin Ray, who was lying on the bed, slowly opened his eyes. The old man was familiar with everything. Lin Ray knew that he was still in the old man's house. Sigh. With a sigh, Lin Ray prepared to get up. But the girl from yesterday swaggered in, and Lin Ray realized that he wasn't wearing any clothes. You go out first, I'm not wearing any clothes," Jean Rouet said to the girl embarrassedly. His face couldn't help but blush. Chapter 167. The girl who walked in saw that the boy who had been in a coma for nearly 3 months was actually so shy. The little girl laughed, her voice clear and pleasant. Jean Rouet couldn't help but be stunned. "Brother Rouet, what are you shy about? I've been helping you bathe and feeding you medicine for the past 2 months. I'm not afraid. What are you afraid of? Really?" As she spoke, the girl didn't care whether Lin Ray was wearing clothes or not. Anyway, she had already seen what she needed to see. Why would she care about what he looked like now? She didn't care about Lin Ray's current situation and directly walked over. Then, she handed over the new clothes to Jean Rouet. "Brother Rouet, try it on and see if it fits." Looking at the clothes, Lin Ray glanced at the corner of his eyes and saw that the girl's fingers were bleeding. However, the blood didn't flow onto the clothes. Looking at the new clothes, Jean Rouet knew that the clothes must have been made by the girl last night. Therefore, thank you for making clothes for me. I still don't know your name." Seeing this scene, Lin Ray didn't say anything. Instead, he silently swore in his heart that he would never let the girl in front of him suffer any harm in the future. "Oh, I'll raise you. Hee, my name is Jean Ling. Grandpa calls me Ling. In the future, you can also call me that." After speaking, the girl blushed. Then, she threw the clothes on Jean Rouet's body and ran out. Hee. Seeing Jean Ling run out, Jean Rouet laughed. Then, he put on the clothes and walked out of the room. The moment he came out, a gust of wind blew over. Lin Ray, who had been lying in the room for a long time, was really not used to it. "Hey! You're the outsider who was saved by old man Jean, right?" At this time, a group of people popped out from the wall and shouted at Lin Ray with serious hostility. "Yes, if it's just me, I think you're talking about me. What's wrong?" "Humph, outsider, I don't know how you came here. As long as I know, our village doesn't welcome you. Ling doesn't welcome you either. I think you should leave as soon as possible. Otherwise," when they heard Lin Ray admit it, their faces immediately turned cold. Their eyes carried a hint of killing intent as they threatened Lin Ray. Oh, you mean you want to do something to me? But I hate it when people threaten me, especially ants like you. What's going on? Why would I say such a thing? At that moment, Lin Ray came to his senses. The words he had said before were not his own. He had just inadvertently blurted them out after hearing what those people said. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Listen to what this brat said. He said that we are ants? Ha ha ha! When those people heard Jean Rouet's words, they burst into laughter. Their laughter was filled with disdain and ridicule. Let me tell you, in Shuaikan village, other than me, no one has ever dared to say that to me. If it weren't for Jean Ling, let me tell you, you would have died today. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Just you wait, I'll be back. As they said that, they seemed to have seen someone. Their faces changed drastically and they quickly fled. Seeing that they had fled, Lin Ray turned around and saw that Jean Ling had unknowingly appeared behind him. Haha, Ling Er, when did you come? Brother Rouet, if they come again in the future, call me out. They are all little bullies in the village. They don't do anything good every day. They come out to bully people every day. Basically, all the children in the village have been bullied by them. So when they see a newcomer again, they have the urge to bully him. Hearing Jean Ling's words, Lin Ray smiled and did not say anything. Instead, he walked towards the room. Hey, Brother Ray, what's wrong with you? Why are you ignoring me? Seeing that Jean Rouet did not say anything after hearing what she said, and turned to walk towards the room, Jean Ling was stunned for a moment. She thought that she had said something wrong. As soon as Jean Rouet left, Jean Ling followed. What's wrong, Brother Rouet? Did Ling Er say something wrong? Jean Ling, who walked in, saw Jean Rouet sitting on the bed and looking at her with a serious expression. Jean Ling was a little scared for a moment. Phew. Ling Er, I want to live alone. I don't want to live in your house all the time. It's inconvenient. Finally, Jean Rouet spoke. But when Jean Ling heard his words, she was stunned on the spot. She stared blankly at Jean Rouet, who was sitting on the bed. No one knew what she was thinking. Why? Does Brother Ray think that our family can't afford to raise you? No, since I'm already here and I've lost my memory, I have to plan for the long term. I plan to go out and live alone. This way, I won't be the subject of ridicule and people won't gossip about you. You see, they came here today for you. So, I think it's better for me to leave. The old man, Jean Ling, spoke in a choked voice. Jean Rouet did not suppress what he wanted to say because of this. But, I don't mind. I know that girls don't mind. Why do you mind? Or is it that I'm not pretty enough and I'm making you lose face? Jean Rouet couldn't be bothered to say anything when he saw the old man's appearance. He stood up and walked out. However, this time, Jean Rouet didn't stay in the courtyard. After asking around, he went to the village chief's residence. Looking at the courtyard made of mud, Lin Ray walked up and knocked on the door. Dong dong dong. The knocking sounds were not very loud, but they could still be heard inside. Sure enough, after a while, a man's deep voice came from the room. Who is it? It's noon? After a while, a person walked out. It was Jean Rouet's people. This was the person who climbed up Jean Ling's wall to threaten him. You? Why are you here? Didn't I tell you? If I see you again, I won't be polite to you. You? Seeing this person again, Jean Rouet was also very surprised, but Jean Rouet did not want to be too entangled with him. While the man was talking, Lin Ray walked in through the gap at the side. When the man who was talking saw this scene, his face showed an awkward expression. Hey, can you not barge into other people's homes? Do you know that this is very bad behavior? Jean Rouet did not seem to have the intention to pay attention to him at all. He ignored him and walked into the room. When he entered the room, he saw an old man who looked like Jean Rouet, but not as old as Jean Rouet's grandfather. He was sitting at the table with a bottle in his hand, as if it was coming from inside. For a moment, Jean Rouet's past love of drinking was brought out by the wine in the old man's hand. Hee hee, kiddo, I've never seen you in the village. Kiddo, you're the one who descended from the sky and brought back to life a person that no one thought you could bring back to life in less than 3 months. Hearing the old man's words, Lin Ray did not deny it and nodded. Then he walked up, sat directly opposite the old man, and said respectfully, I know you're the village chief. I'm here to survive here. I'm here to beg you. Can you arrange an empty or abandoned house for me in the village? Even if you don't have a house, you can just find a random place. I'll build my own house. Oh, is that why you're here? I heard that you are living in Old Man Jin's house? Why do you want to live out now? Hearing Jean Rue's words, the old man could not help but be surprised for a moment, then he recovered and asked Jean Rue. Since I have already planned to live here for a long time, then I must have my own house. So I beg the village chief to arrange a house for me. I know that everything is not for free. I can hunt, and I will use the meat I hunt to exchange for it. I will give you double the amount of meat that the house is worth. What do you think? Hearing Jean Rue's reason, and such tempting conditions, who would not agree? Meat was a good thing on this island, so the old man did not even think about it and agreed. Okay, but you have to do as you say. The prey on our island is not so easy to hunt. Yes, I know. I will do as I say, as long as you give me what I want. Hearing Jean Rue's words, the old man hurriedly told Lin Ray the address of the house and told the entire village that the house would be Jean Rue's in the future. He also warned everyone that Jean Rue would be a person of Shui Ken village in the future. After that, life returned to normal. After Jean Rue obtained the house, he simply tidied it up. As long as the house was clean, it was fine. Then he went to find a knife and walked into the forest. Phew! Let's begin. I just don't know what this prey is. After entering the forest, Jean Rue walked for a while and encountered some rabbits and pheasants. Under Jean Rue's relentless pursuit, he finally caught more than 10 rabbits and pheasants in a short while. Seeing so much prey, Jean Rue wiped the sweat off his head and carried the prey back to the village. Forget it, let's go to Jean Ling's house. They have taken care of me for so long I should thank them. After returning to the village, Jean Rue made up his mind and brought the prey to Jean Ling's house. Along the way, when everyone saw what Lin Ray was carrying on his back, they all revealed shocked expressions. It was as if they had seen something that happened once in 1,000 years, making Jean Rue feel uncomfortable all over. Jean Ling, are you home? When he arrived at Jean Ling's house, Jean Rue was not in a hurry to go in. Instead, he shouted at the door. Jia, Jean Ling's figure walked out after a while. When she saw what Lin Ray was carrying, her face revealed the same shocked expression as the other villagers. Brother Ray, how did you get this? Ha, are you stupid? Of course I called. Don't tell me you walked over and got caught by me? Chapter 168. At this time, Jean Rue was very puzzled. Why were there so many people looking at him on the way back? At that time, Jean Rue thought he was an outsider, so it was like this. He didn't expect that when he returned to Jean Ling's place, it was still the same scene. At this time, Lin Ray knew that this matter was not as he thought. Brother Rue, do you know? On our island, eating meat is so extravagant, but you brought back so much meat today. How can the villagers not be surprised? What? Eating meat is extravagant? That's not right. There are so many wild hares and pheasants on the mountain. If they want to eat meat, they can go up and hunt. Why would you say that? When Jean Rue heard Jean Ling's words, his face showed a puzzled expression. This time, he was very puzzled. You don't know. That's because those things run too fast, so we can't catch them. But today is different. I didn't expect Brother Rue to catch so many at once. It's really great. However, Brother Rue, why don't we take advantage of this time to distribute these and keep a few? This can ease the gap between you and the villagers. And you decide. I don't know about this. Since the things have been delivered, I'll go back first. Hearing Jean Ling's words, Jean Rue smiled and then took a wild hare and left. At this time, Jean Ling's face was red as she thought about Jean Rue's words of, "You decide." After Jean Rue left, Jean Ling listened for a long time before she woke up from her infatuation. Then, she took the rabbits and pheasants that Jean Rue caught and delivered them to each house. Every time she went to a house, she would say, "This is my brother Rue's gift to you. I hope you can take care of me in the future." Soon, Jean Rue finished delivering more than a dozen rabbits and pheasants. Although it was far from enough, he could only deliver these. Jean Ling passed by Jean Rue's house and pushed the door in. She saw Jean Rue holding a knife and cutting the rabbit meat. "Brother Rue, how can you do this kind of work? Let me do it." When Jean Ling came in and saw that Lin Rue's movements were particularly slow, she strode forward and grabbed the knife in Jean Rue's hand. Then, she began to cook for Lin Rue. Seeing this, Lin Rue didn't refuse. Seeing that Jean Ling was cooking, he sat at the side and quietly watched Jean Ling's back. There was an indescribable peace in his heart. After a long, long time, the cooked meal was placed on the broken table by Jean Ling. Seeing this scene, Jean Rue's eyes lit up. "Hee, Brother Rue, hurry up and eat. Otherwise, the food will get cold." At this time, Jean Ling, who had already finished everything last night, turned her head and saw Jean Rue's greedy expression. She couldn't help but smile. This smile made Lin Rue shift his attention from the food on the table to her face. Although this smile couldn't be considered as a devastatingly beautiful woman, it was still extremely beautiful. What's wrong with you?" When Jean Ling saw Jean Rue staring at her, she came to Jean Rue's side with a red face and asked softly, Oh, eat, eat." Hearing Jean Ling's voice, Jean Rue returned to his senses and awkwardly changed the topic. He hurriedly came to the table and began to wolf down the food cooked by Jean Ling. Cough, cough. Cough, cough. Cough. In a moment of carelessness, Jean Rue ate too quickly and choked to the point of coughing. For a moment, his face turned red from coughing. "Brother Rue, slow down. No one is fighting with you." When Jean Ling saw Jean Rue's appearance, she hurriedly went to get a bowl of water and handed it to Jean Rue. Her other hand gently patted Jean Rue's back to help him breathe normally. Cough. Cough, cough. "That, Ling, sit down and eat. Cough. I can't finish it alone." After drinking the water, Jean Rue felt much better and said softly to Jean Ling, "Okay." Jean Ling sat down, picked up the food that was already prepared, and ate slowly. When Jean Rue saw this scene, he became even more infatuated. His hand that was about to reach into his mouth unconsciously stopped in the air after seeing Jean Ling's eating posture. Of course, Jean Ling, who was eating, also felt this scene. However, she did not raise her head and allowed Jean Rue to admire her. This was because this was what he had been looking forward to. How could she be so stupid as to ruin this scene? This meal was very difficult. It was as if the two of them had slowed down. After a few hours, Jean Ling raised her head and looked at Jean Rue, who was looking at her with infatuation. Then, she stood up and quickly went to Jean Rue's side. She kissed Jean Rue's face at lightning speed and quickly ran out. Jean Rue's face was very cold. Ha ha. After a long time, Jean Rue came back to his senses and recalled the scene where Jean Ling kissed him on the face before she left. For a moment, Lin Rue fell under Jean Ling's pomegranate skirt. When Jean Ling returned home, she went into her room and secretly giggled. Her face was even redder than before. She couldn't help but recall the scene where she kissed Jean Rue. I'm so embarrassed. I don't know what Brother Rue is thinking. I don't care. I'll ask him tomorrow." After thinking it through, Jean Ling lay on the bed and closed her eyes to sleep. At this moment, Jean Rue wasn't as calm as Jean Ling. At this moment, Jean Rue was lying on the bed, tossing and turning, but he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about today's scene and his heart burned like fire. It was unbearable. What's going on? No, no, I can't sleep at all. In the end, Jean Rouet chose a way to vent, and that was to go deep into the mountains to hunt for tomorrow's meal. Jean Rouet immediately stood up and took the long knife that he had used to hunt today. Then, he set off on his hunting journey. This time, Jean Rouet planned to get a bigger one and share it with all the villagers. With Jean Rouet's speed, it didn't take long for him to reach the place where he hunted. However, after waiting for a long time, no prey appeared. Jean Rouet could only choose to go deeper into the mountains. Not long after, he saw a white snow fox. Haha, this fox skin can be used to make a dress for Ling. Thinking of this, Lin Ray changed his mind. As the saying goes, quiet as a virgin, moving like a rabbit. Lin Ray was like the king of the forest, moving quickly. Compared to Jean Rouet, one was like a son and the other was like a father. They couldn't be compared at all. A white shadow of a beast was running in front, and a human shadow was chasing behind it. Just like this, it didn't take long for Jean Rouet to catch the running snow fox. He found a place with a water source and began the process of skinning the snow fox. Although Jean Rouet wasn't very familiar with it, he still finished it in the end. A perfect, snow-white snow fox skin appeared in Jean Rouet's hands. Although the snow fox skin was stained with blood, it disappeared without a trace after being washed in water. Haha, Ling will definitely like it. Maybe she will even cook a meal for me. At this moment, Jean Rouet held the washed snow fox skin in his hands and looked into the distance with a yearning expression. Awoo! 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 A wolf's howl came from the surroundings, pulling Jean Rouet back to reality from his fantasy. The smile on his face disappeared as well. The old man was surrounded by a group of green eyes. Jean Rouet hurriedly tightened his grip on his broadsword and defended himself. Awoo! At this time, another wolf howl was heard, as if it was an order for the wolf pack to attack. After the howl, the wolf pack, which had been motionless before, suddenly rushed towards Jean Rouet in a frenzy. Damn, it seems like it's impossible to be kind today. Seeing the pack of wolves charging over, Linley smiled. The corners of his mouth curled upwards, revealing a murderous expression. If Linley's enemies were here, they would definitely recognize that this ordinary person with no cultivation at all was the god of death, Linley, who had slaughtered them all, leaving not even a chicken or a dog alive. Ha! Die for me! In an instant, Jean Rouet didn't hesitate and directly rushed towards the wolf pack with a watermelon knife. Puff, puff, puff. The sound of Jean Rouet slashing echoed. Everywhere Jean Rouet passed by, there would be wolf corpses on the spot, blood constantly flowing out. As the saying goes, the night is dark and the wind is strong. Haha, all of you come. Today, I will take you back and let all the villagers eat meat. At this time, Jean Rouet was completely blinded by the pleasure of killing. He didn't know how to listen anymore. At this time, Jean Rouet seemed to have returned to the time when he didn't lose his memory. Awoo! At this time, there was a snow-white wolf standing at the highest point, issuing orders to the wolf pack. Ah, so it was you who caused trouble for me. When Jean Rouet understood everything, he directly gave up on the ordinary wolf pack below and went straight to the Wolf King at the top of the mountain to kill. Wherever Jean Rouet passed, there would be mountains of corpses and seas of blood. No ordinary wolf could withstand one move from Jean Rouet. Ha ha, die for me. I want to give your meat to Jean Ling, so don't struggle. Seeing the Wolf King's struggling eyes, Lin Ray smiled and then directly jumped up. 10 meters high, he arrived in front of the Wolf King in an instant. Taking advantage of the momentum, he directly plunged the watermelon knife into the Wolf King's skull. Awoo! The Wolf King let out a mournful cry. Not long after, the Wolf King fell unconscious. Seeing this scene, Jean Rouet carried the Wolf King over his shoulder and picked up some of the fatter wolves. Then, he walked back to the mountain village with the snow fox fur. Along the way, anyone who smelled the blood on his body would retreat. Chapter 169. She didn't know how deep Jean Rouet went into the forest. He walked from night to night and only returned to the place where he hunted rabbits last night. Phew! How deep did I go? Took me so long to get here. At this time, Jean Rouet was calculating in his heart. Later, he remembered that when he went into the mountain at night, he was empty. But now, he came back with a beast that weighed almost 1,000 pounds. Jean Rouet was relieved. Dong! Jean Rouet came to a place where he could rest. Then, he threw the beast that he carried for the whole night on the ground and sat on a stone to rest, panting. What Jean Rouet didn't know was that Jean Ling had already planned to go to his house today to ask about it. When Jean Ling came to Jean Rouet's house as promised, she found that the door was not closed. Jia! Jean Ling pushed the door open and went in. Then, she searched all the places that she could find, but she couldn't find Jean Rouet. This time, Jean Ling was anxious. "Brother Rouet, where did you go? Come out. I won't dare to do it again. Please come out, okay? Boo-hoo." When Jean Ling couldn't find Jean Rouet, she sat directly at the gate and cried, apologizing to Jean Rouet. Of course, this scene was known by the whole village in an instant. After a while, all the villagers of Shuai-Ken village came to Jean Rouet's door. The old man was crying Jean Ling. Everyone's first thought wasn't that Jean Rouet couldn't find her, but that Jean Ling might have been bullied by Jean Rouet. Seeing that Jean Ling was crying very sadly, no one went forward to stop her. They just watched Jean Ling sitting at the gate and crying. They could only sigh and feel sorry for her. Sigh. Such a good girl was bullied by an outsider just like that. What do you think this is called? Yeah, I was going to go to his house to be a matchmaker. You see now, this, no, how can we let an outsider bully the people of Shuai-Ken village? No, we have to do something. Otherwise, he will think that we are easy to bully. After everyone's discussion, they finally came to a conclusion that they had to avenge Jean Ling. They couldn't let Jean Ling be bullied. After coming to this conclusion, they all went back home and immediately took out their weapons that could kill or beat people. They hurriedly came to the entrance of the village to wait for Jean Rouet, who was pretending that he had escaped. At this time, Jean Rouet happened to be resting and carried all the dead beasts back to the village. Coincidentally, he bumped into the villagers. "Hey, Auntie Agno, look, I'll give you." Originally, when Lin Ray came back and saw them blocking the entrance of the village, he felt that something was wrong. This confirmed Jean Rouet's conjecture even more. Before Jean Rouet could finish speaking, he was blocked by Auntie Agno. "Humph, you beast, you still know to come back. You thought that we didn't care about your past enmity and took you in, but what about you? You actually did such an outrageous thing. Tell me, are you worthy of us? Humph, in my opinion, you might as well kill yourself so that you don't tarnish our eyes, that's right." That's right. Under Auntie Agno's verbal attack, everyone started to roar at Lin Ray. Some people even started to hit him. Even the very young children threw stones at Jean Rouet. However, they never saw that behind Jean Rouet were the corpses of the Wolf King and many wild wolves. They also didn't see the blood on Lin Ray's body and the blood-soaked broadsword on his back. At this moment, in their eyes, Jean Rouet was still the beast in their hearts. He was the beast who had tarnished Jean Ling. Ha. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Fine, fine, fine. Since that's the case, then those who had nothing to do with me before are even more unrelated now. You don't owe me anything, and I don't owe you anything. From today onwards, I, Jean Rouet, oh no, I, Lin Yu, am no longer a person of your water barrier village. I'm not familiar with you, and I won't stay in the village house anymore. At this moment, no matter how wronged Lin Ray felt, it was no longer important. It was just that the name he changed at the last minute was similar to Lin Ray's name. Perhaps it was fate. Looking at the crowd, Lin Ray could see deep disgust and contempt in everyone's eyes. This was what Lin Yu couldn't tolerate the most. Therefore, Lin Ray decided to leave. Looking at the village that had nothing to do with him, The only thing that Lin Yu couldn't let go of was Jean Ling. But now, turning around, Lin Yu's tears streaked across her eyes and fell to the ground. She reached out and carried the corpses of the Wolf King and the normal wolves on her back. Once again, she walked into the forest. This time, Lin Yu did not enter voluntarily. She was forced into it. Step by step, Lin Yu carried the Wolf King's corpse on her back. She carried the heavy body of the Wolf King and walked into the forest. At this moment, everyone realized that before Lin Yu left, she was carrying the meat on her back and her tattered clothes, as well as the dried blood on her body. Everyone was stunned. Sigh. Let's go back and tell Jean Ling. Tell her that we've avenged her and no one will bully her anymore. At this time, it was still Auntie Anyo who spoke. Bring this kind of person to dinner. Previously, in front of the door where Jean Rue and Lin Yu once lived, it was still Auntie Anyo who stood up and spoke to the sobbing Jean Ling. Linger, don't be sad. We've already taught the brat who hurt you a lesson. Now, he's in our village, and will never appear in front of you again. Yes. This is your Auntie Anyo's idea. This time, we've avenged you. Yes, yes. Lin Yu, who had changed her name, was startled after hearing the words of the uncles and aunts who had watched her grow up. What? What's wrong with you? What did you say just now? Hurry up and tell me. What did you do just now? At this time, Jean Ling was no longer as pitiful as before. At this time, she was like a frightened mother who came out to protect her child. She roared at everyone crazily. Her face was frighteningly ferocious. Everyone couldn't help but take a step back in fear. Ha! Ha ha! Jean Ling, what's wrong with you? We're just avenging you. There's no need to tell us, Brother Rue. Where did Brother Rue go? Tell us, where did he go? At this moment, after seeing Jean Ling's appearance, everyone had a premonition that they had wronged Lin Yu this time. He went deep into the forest and said that he would never come back. Also, this time, after hearing Jean Ling's words, a child told the situation at that time. But when he reached the end of the sentence, the child stopped himself. Also, what's wrong with him? Tell us, what did you say? At this moment, everyone was sure that they had indeed wronged Lin Yu. After hearing Jean Ling's words, Auntie Anyo couldn't help but finish the sentence that the child didn't finish. Also, he's not called Jean Rue anymore. He suddenly changed his name in front of everyone and became Lin Yu. Also said that we don't owe him anything. He doesn't owe us anything. Probably won't come back in the future. With a boom, after hearing everyone's answers, Jean Ling's head seemed to explode. She was in extreme pain, and in the end, her eyes rolled back and she fainted. Jean Ling, how could you? Don't scare us. Seeing that Jean Ling had fainted, everyone hurriedly carried Lin Ray back to her house and handed him over to Grandpa Jean. They also told him everything that had happened before without leaving out anything. After listening to the villagers' words, Grandpa Jean sighed slightly and said, Sigh. It seems that he won't come back in the future. At this moment, Grandpa Jean didn't dwell on it too much. Instead, he came to Jean Ling's bedside and sighed, What is love? It makes people want to live and die together. It seems that Ling has completely fallen in love with that person. After sighing, Grandpa Jean walked out of the room. Jean Ling, who was lying on the bed in a coma, couldn't stop her tears from flowing down. As for Lin Yu, who had been forced out of the forest by the crowd, she found a cave and went to find some trees to make some beds, tables, doors and so on. After that, she stored the prey that she had hunted. Sigh. It seems that a peaceful life doesn't belong to me after all. Back then, Grandpa Jean said that I fell from the sky and my body was covered in blood. It seems that only by finding the clothes that I was wearing back then can I know what happened back then. At this time, it was already night. After Lin Ray was done with his work, he sat on the bed and silently recalled his experience on this isolated island. However, no matter how he thought about it, He always felt that there seemed to be something that was preventing him from finding out the truth of the matter. Under that barrier, he was indeed so powerless. Forget it, let's get my things back first. With that, Lin Rei stood up and prepared to leave Shuiken village. However, when he thought of Jin Ling, Lin Yu couldn't help but walk back. He immediately took the snow fox skin that he had hunted for Jin Ling and walked out. Originally, it wasn't very easy to travel, but for some reason, Lin Yu was always able to see the road clearly at night. Very quickly, Lin Yu snuck into Water Barrier Village, and then, based on his memories, arrived at Old Man Jin's home. Jiya. The door was pushed open by Lin Yu. However, the light was still on inside. Grandpa Jin sat upright beside the light as if he was waiting for his arrival. Hee, I knew that you would come back because you wanted to find the lost memories. In order to find the lost memories, you must find the clothes that you were wearing when you came here. Am I right? Chapter 170. Lin Yu was slightly surprised when she heard Old Man Jin speak his thoughts without missing a single word. However, this was something that Lin Yu had already thought of. You're absolutely right. Originally, I thought that I wouldn't need to recover my memories and just live here for the rest of my life. But they forced you onto the path of killing again because of some small matter. You were very disappointed. You wanted to use your actions to integrate with them, but they didn't give you a chance, right? Lin Rei couldn't help but nod when he heard Old Man Jin's words. He admired him in his heart. Old Man Jin could see what he was thinking at a glance, but they sigh. All of this is because of their ignorance. They don't understand your painstaking efforts. Since that's the case, then let's go along with their wishes as soon as possible. Anyway, you don't feel very comfortable here, do you? Hee, Old Man Jin knows me well. You're right. After I woke up, I was very resistant to this feeling in my heart. Later on, I moved out, but I still couldn't escape the path I should take. Sometimes you don't have to change your path. You just have to go with the flow. Everything else isn't important. Just be yourself. Old Man Jin stood up and took out the clothes he took off from his body from the wooden box beside him. For a moment, Lin Yu was stunned because the appearance of the clothes was completely different from what Old Man Jin had described. At this moment, Lin Rei saw that it was very extravagant. There was no trace of blood. Instead, it was quite gorgeous. This is the clothes you were wearing when you fell from a high altitude. At that time, it was indeed stained with blood. However, after a few days of listening, the blood stains disappeared bit by bit. Before I knew it, the blood stains had disappeared. Hearing Old Man Jin's words, Lin Rei nodded and then walked out of the door. Old Man Jin, you give this to Ling, or take it as a gift for taking care of me. Although the gift isn't very expensive, I did put in a lot of effort. Lin Yu stopped at the door and threw the snow fox skin to Old Man Jin. Then, she walked out without looking back. Sigh. He's also infatuated. I really don't know if I should let them be together or not. At this moment, Old Master Jin couldn't make up his mind about the snow fox skin in his hands. Cough. Cough, cough, cough. Grandfather. Just when Old Master Jin couldn't make up his mind, it was as if the heavens had already made a decision for him. Come in. It just so happens that I have something to talk to you about. It just so happens that you're here now. Looking at Jin Ling at the door, Old Man Jin sat directly on the bed. Jin Ling had already arrived in front of Old Man Jin, but at this time, Jin Ling was a little weak. What's wrong, Grandpa? Jin Ling opened her mouth. Her voice was very weak. When she saw the tender look on her face, it really made people's hearts ache. Yes, here. Lin Yu asked me to give this to you just now. She said it's a gift for you to take care of him. Old Master Jin, who had already made a decision, took out the snow fox skin and handed it directly to Jin Ling. What? He was here? Hearing her grandfather's words, Jean Ling's body froze. She wanted to chase after him, but when she remembered that there was still a relative sitting in front of her, Jean Ling held back. Sigh. Go. Go after him. Maybe he hasn't gone far yet. Since the heavens have made a decision for you, then I'm just going against the heavens by stopping him. Saying that, Old Man Jin's eyes were filled with tears. One of his hands kept chasing Jean Ling out. He didn't want his granddaughter to lose the love she should have had. Boo-hoo. I know, Grandpa. After saying that, Jean Ling knelt on the ground and bid farewell to Old Man Jin. She turned around and chased after him while shouting Lin Yu's current name. Lin Yu, wait for me. At this moment, Jean Ling didn't seem to be sick at all. She chased after Lin Yu, who had already gone far away, and kept shouting. When Lin Yu, who was walking in front, heard someone calling her name from behind, she thought it was an illusion. However, when she really heard someone calling her name, and it was the person she had been thinking about in her heart, Lin Yu turned her head and saw Jean Ling chasing after her with all her might. Suddenly Jean Ling, who was almost in front of her, was tripped by something. When she was about to fall, Lin Yu's eyes were sharp and his hands were quick. He rushed forward and hugged Jean Ling in his arms. At this moment, the two of them seemed to be frozen. Both of them maintained the same position and didn't change their positions. After persisting for more than 10 minutes, Jean Ling asked Lin Yu with a blushing face. Lin Yu, are you going to hug me like this? Oh, Jean Ling's words broke the beautiful peace. At this moment, the two of them were like children who hadn't experienced the world. Why are you here? At this moment, Lin Yu finally couldn't help but ask Jean Ling. Her tone was full of worry. You're still talking about it. If it weren't for you who didn't even say a word, would I be sitting in front of your house crying? If it weren't for me crying, the villagers wouldn't misunderstand you, and I wouldn't have fainted. All of this is for you, and now you're asking me why I'm here? After hearing Jean Ling pouring out her grievances to Lin Yu smiled awkwardly. I just went hunting. Who knew that I would cause so much trouble later on? Besides, it's just nice that I'm living in the forest. Silly. Seeing Lin Yu's expression, Jean Ling walked over and held Lin Yu's hand. She walked towards the depths of the forest, but was stopped by Lin Yu. Jean Ling, you can't enter here. In here, life is death. I can't be by your side all the time, so I don't want to take this risk. Don't worry, I'm not afraid. Besides, my grandfather has already agreed. Even if I go back, he will chase me back. So, I'm already yours. As long as you don't let me down in this life, I'm not afraid of anything. After saying that, Jean Ling walked towards the depths of the forest. This time, Lin Ray didn't say anything. He walked up, held Jean Ling's hand, and brought her back to the place where he was living now. Wow, Brother Lin Yu, the place you're living now is really nice. I've never lived in a cave before. After hearing Jean Ling's words, Lin Yu, who had just walked in, fainted. He had never heard anyone say that a cave was nice. Alright, it's getting late. Let's go to sleep. After saying that, Jean Ling came to the bed and began to take off her clothes. Looking at her posture, she didn't care about Lin Yu's presence at all. I'll go out first. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu said to Jean Ling and walked out. But at this moment, he was stopped by Jean Ling. Lin Yu, come back. When I came in, I already said that I'm already yours when I left the Jean family. What do you want me to do if you do this? After saying that, Jean Ling walked behind Lin Yu and gently hugged his waist. She said softly to Lin Ray, Lin Yu, take me. Let me be your wife. I want to wait for you to come back from hunting every day. I want to serve you. I want to wait at home every day for you to come back for dinner. Whoa. Just when Jean Ling was talking enthusiastically, Lin Yu turned around and blocked Jean Ling's mouth with his. 5 minutes later, when both of them were almost out of breath, Lin Yu finally parted his lips reluctantly. Jean Ling, don't worry. In the future, I'll treat you well. You're the woman that I, Lin Yu, love the most in my life. I'll definitely not make you sad, not make you unhappy, and not let you suffer any grievances. After saying that, Lin Yu carried Jean Ling up in a princess carry. He slowly walked to the wooden bed and gently placed Jean Ling on the bed. At this moment, Jean Ling's blushing cheeks were like a red apple, making people want to take a bite out of it. Lin Yu, you have to be gentler. I will. After hearing Jean Ling's words, Lin Yu began to live a life that was worth 1,000 gold. The night passed slowly. In the latter half of the night, it started to drizzle as if to congratulate Lin Yu on his good deed. The rain only stopped in the morning. At this moment, Lin Yu and Jean Ling were lying on the bed. Lin Rei cut off the snow wolf's skin and used it as a blanket. At this moment, it was covering Lin Yu's brother, Jean Ling. Are you hungry? Why don't I get up and cook for you? At this moment, Jean Ling, who was lying beside Lin Yu, looked at the man that she would never forget for the rest of her life, and got up to prepare breakfast for him. Don't lie down for a while more. Anyway, I killed a wolf king. Its meat is enough for us to eat for a while. Oh, got it. Just like that, the two of them lay down until the afternoon. Only then did Lin Yu put on his clothes. Of course, Jean Ling also put on her clothes and went to cook for Lin Yu. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu seemed to have a sense of home in his heart. After a slight smile, he walked out. After finding some wild fruits around his residence, he returned to his residence. At this moment, Jean Ling had already finished cooking and was standing at the door waiting for her husband to come back to eat. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu's heart that wanted to regain his memories completely calmed down. He felt that this was what he really wanted. Ling it just finished raining outside. Besides, it's colder in the mountains than outside. Don't wait here in the future. Looking at his newlywed wife who was rubbing her hands and waiting for him to come back in the rain, Lin Yu's heart ached. At this moment, he came to her side and took off his clothes. Then, he put it on her body to warm her up. Chapter 171. I know. I'll wear more clothes in the future and wait for you outside. Okay. Looking at the clothes on her body, Jean Ling's eyes were filled with tenderness as she spoke to Lin Yu. Let's go. Look, I went around to pick some fruits for you. This way, you won't get sick of eating meat. As he spoke, Lin Yu hugged Jean Ling and returned to the cave. After entering, Lin Yu smelled waves of fragrance. On the table, Jean Ling had already placed the rice on the table and was waiting for him to return. Sorry, I won't make you wait in the future. As long as it's time to eat, I'll be back on time. Drenching the table, Lin Yu hurriedly sat down and ate big chunks. This meal could be said to be the best meal Lin Yu had in his life. After the meal, Lin Rei walked out again. When he returned, he had a few more animal skins in his hand. Ling you'll have to work harder later and make more clothes for yourself. I know I can't stop you from waiting for me outside. The only thing I can do is to try my best not to let you catch a cold. As he spoke, Lin Rei passed the animal skins to Jean Ling and directly fell asleep on the bed. When Jean Ling saw this scene, her face revealed a blissful smile. Then, she helped Lin Yu take off his shoes and covered him with the thick snow wolf skin. Then, she began to sew the clothes. Lin Yu slept for a long time and only woke up the next morning. When she saw that Jean Ling was lying beside her without a blanket, she felt her heart ache. Silly girl, you don't know how to wake me up. Sleeping here like this, aren't you afraid that my heart will ache? Lin Yu took off the snow wolf skin on his body and covered Jean Ling's body. After that, he personally went to cook for her. What's that smell? After an unknown amount of time, Jean Ling woke up. However, she did not wake up naturally. Instead, she was smelled by a piece of meat that was not very fragrant but looked very delicious. It was placed in front of her, and her husband was removing the fat on the meat for her. You're awake? Then come and eat. As she spoke, Lin Yu came to Jean Ling's side and reached out to carry her to the dining table. Then, she personally fed her. Husband, you should eat too. This isn't your job anyway. I'll do it myself. Looking at her husband feeding her, Jean Ling felt that she was the happiest person in the world. Just like that, the cycle repeated itself. Every day, he would leave early and return late. Occasionally, he would flirt with Jean Ling. 3 months later, on this day, Jean Ling suddenly appeared behind Lin Yu and hugged her. Husband, do you know? Today is the happiest day of my life. I want to share it with you. Oh, what could make you more excited than seeing me? Hearing Lin Yu's teasing, Jean Ling rolled her eyes at Lin Yu and let her experience it herself. I'm pregnant. What? Because Jean Ling's voice was very soft, Lin Yu didn't hear it clearly and asked again. I said I'm pregnant. This time, Lin Rei heard it clearly. When he heard that he had a child, his heart was incomparably excited. Then, he hugged Jean Ling and spun around on the spot. His mouth couldn't help but look up to the sky and howl. Ha ha! I have a son. I'm going to be a father. I have a son. Looking at her husband's happy expression when he heard that she was pregnant, Jean Ling was very happy. All right, Ling, these few days I will give you some food for pregnant women. Also, try not to walk around. If you can sit, don't stand. If you can lie down, don't sit. In short, during this period of time, you must eat well and wear warm clothes. Try not to go out. Oh no, don't go out to wait for me, okay? You're not alone now. We have a child now. Seeing her husband so nervous, Jean Ling couldn't help but smile because this was the first time she saw her husband so nervous. All right, lie down for a while. I'll go out first. Don't cook. Although I'm not as good at cooking as you are, before you give birth to the child, I will take care of everything in the house, including cooking. Lin Rei didn't listen to Jean Ling's rebuttal and walked out. Before he went out, he locked the door and scattered some repellent on the door. This time, Lin Rei went to a place where there were no beasts and not in the mountains. Now that Jean Ling was pregnant, it wouldn't be good for her to live in the mountains. So, Lin Rei prepared to build a house in that place. Just like that, Lin Yu left early and returned late every day. Every time before he went out, he would make a lot of delicious food for Jean Ling and pick some fresh fruits from the surroundings. Just like that, day after day passed. Jean Ling's belly grew bigger day by day. The house that Lin Yu built outside was finally completed today after 5 months. Looking at the house in front of her, which she had spent 5 months building, Lin Yu was quite satisfied. There was a table, chairs, a place to cook, and even a bed. Lin Yu had built a big bed. There were all kinds of furs on it. Ha ha ha, I wonder if Jean Ling will be surprised when she sees this house. Saying that, Lin Yu returned home. After walking for a few kilometers with Jean Ling in his arms, he arrived at the place that he was going to live in. But along the way, Lin Yu covered Jean Ling's eyes with a piece of cloth, so Jean Ling was completely unaware of the situation. Ling, I'm going to show you the place that your husband has worked hard to build for the past few months. I'm sure you'll like it. Saying that, Lin Yu placed Jean Ling on the ground. After he removed the cloth, Jean Ling's shriek echoed far away. Ah, hubby, this is the home that you've worked hard to build for the past 5 months? At this moment, Jean Ling was so touched that tears rolled down her cheeks. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu quickly stopped Jean Ling. Linger, you can't cry now. Besides, you can't be too agitated. If not, it won't be good for the fetus. Yes, I know. I just feel bad for hubby. I feel bad that you've been leaving early and returning late every day for the past 5 months. Saying that, Jean Ling snuggled into Lin Yu's embrace and stared at Lin Yu lovingly as though she wasn't willing to shift her gaze away for even a moment. Haha, alright. Actually, I've found this place long ago. But back then, I wanted to let you stay here after you're pregnant. I didn't expect it to be so soon. Sigh. I didn't think it through enough. Hubby, thank you. I have no other wishes to be your woman in this life. Just like this, Lin Ray brought Jean Ling to stay here. Every day, Lin Yu would go out to hunt and return to help Jean Ling cook. However, Jean Ling's habit of waiting for Lin Yu couldn't be changed. If she didn't wait at the door every day, perhaps she would feel uncomfortable all over. A few months later. No, I can't, hubby. It hurts so much. Lin Yu thought that Jean Ling wouldn't give birth today, but he didn't expect that she would suddenly say that she was about to give birth. However, there wasn't a midwife by her side. In the end, Lin Yu had no choice but to do it himself. Ling do your best. Do your best. Let's work harder and our child will be born. Let's work harder. At this moment, Lin Yu was heartbroken. He wished that he was the one lying on the bed instead of Jean Ling. He didn't want Jean Ling to suffer like this, but it was impossible. Ah, hubby, I'm in so much pain. Hubby. Time passed slowly. Finally, under Jean Ling's efforts, the child was born. What? In an instant, a baby's cries sounded from the room. At this moment, Jean Ling, who had just given birth, perhaps due to exhaustion, after giving birth, she fell into a deep sleep. Sigh. Ling it's been hard on you. You actually gave birth to a son for me. After the child was born, Lin Ray knew that Jean Ling gave birth to a boy. Lin Yu decided to let the child follow his mother's surname. Child, from now on you shall be called Jean N. As your father, I don't expect you to be successful. As long as you can repay your mother for the pain she went through when she gave birth to you, that will be enough. As he spoke, Lin Yu placed the child on Jean Ling's body. Then, he cleaned up the mess. Instantly, the room looked brand new. Lin Li went outside to cook for the sleeping Jean Ling. It wasn't until the next morning that Jean Ling woke up from her deep sleep. However, as soon as she woke up, she wanted to see the child. However, Lin Yu felt that they should eat first. In the end, he couldn't persuade Jean Ling and could only agree. Looking at the child in her arms, the crystallization of love between her and the person she loved, Jean Ling smiled. She smiled very happily. Husband, have you given the child a name yet? I've already named him. Looking at Jean Ling's appearance, Lin Ray couldn't help but say the child's name. I named him Jeanen. What? Jeanen? No, husband. How can he take my surname? No, you can't do that. When she heard that her husband had named the child, she resisted for a moment. Although Jean Ling was a little happy when she heard the name, she refused to let Lin Yu use the name no matter what. Stop fighting, Ling. I called him Jeanen because I saw the pain you went through when you were giving birth to him. I want him to remember the pain you went through when he grew up. I don't want him to forget how difficult it was for you to give birth to him. So, Ling listen to me now. After saying that, Lin Yu took the child and placed the hot food in front of Jean Ling to let her eat. Husband, why don't you let me see the child again? I still want to see him. Chapter 172. If you continue to be like this, I'll be angry. Just do as I said. Eat first. It's not like you can't see the child after that. When the child is out of confinement, we'll take him back to see your grandfather and let your grandfather know that you're now a mother. Besides, you haven't been back in the past year. I miss Grandpa too. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Jean Ling's eyes showed a sad look. This scene made Lin Yu couldn't help but walk to Jean Ling's side, hug her, and comfort her. It's okay. When you're out of confinement, we'll go. If you want, you can live there in the future. Besides, this place is quite close to Shuaikan village. And I'll listen to my husband. Whatever you say. As she spoke, Jean Ling picked up the rice that Lin Yu brought over and began to eat. Although she had not eaten for a day, when she was eating, she was still so slow and graceful. Time was a law that couldn't be grasped or touched. Days passed. Soon, it had been more than 100 days since Jean Ling gave birth. Jin could also call his father and mother. This made Lin Yu and Jin Ling happy. Especially Lin Yu, who now had to cook for Jin Ling and play with Jin every day. Her life was full every day. When she had nothing to do, she would go out to hunt. When she hunted, she would hunt nearly 100 pounds of meat and wild fruit. Jin Ling and Jin were full every day. As for Jin Ling, she originally thought that after she gave birth, she could cook for her husband and child. She didn't expect that things were completely different from what she imagined. After giving birth, Lin Yu became even worse. When she had a child, although she could only sit on the bed, she could still do some work. Now, Lin Yu didn't let her have a good time. She would even cook different dishes for her every meal. In this year, Lin Yu's cooking skills were completely developed. Every day there would be meat in the pot. This made Jin Ling almost want to escape from Lin Yu's clutches after giving birth. But in the end, they could only compromise. "Husband, are you done yet? Aren't we just going to visit Grandpa? Is there a need to dress up like that?" At this time, Jin had been 100 days old. Originally, they had agreed to visit him after the confinement, but later, Jin Ling was afraid that Jin would catch a cold, so she delayed it until today. Jin Ling, who was originally anxious in her heart, sent this message, but Lin Yu specially ran to the room to wear a new set of clothes that she had never worn before. This made Jin Ling completely helpless. Time passed bit by bit, but Lin Yu still hadn't come out. Now, Jin Ling and Jin, who were waiting outside the door, immediately shouted into the room. "Mother! What is father doing inside? Didn't you say you were going to visit a relative?" At this moment, Jin, who was in Jin Ling's arms, hurriedly asked his mother, Jin Ling, when he saw how troubled his father was. "Humph, it's your father. He's usually not such a wishy-washy person. But now that he's going to see Grandpa, he's so slow. Really? Aya, isn't it better now? In the past, that was because I wasn't your husband yet. Now it's different. He's also my grandfather, and it's the first time we're meeting after I married you. Tell me, can I not be more formal?" While Jin Ling was complaining, Lin Yu walked out of the room. She was wearing clothes made of bear fur, and she was holding the dried meat from her family. Seeing this, Jin Ling's heart warmed and tears welled up in her eyes. "Aya, we're already an old married couple. Don't be so pretentious, right? Aren't you anxious?" As she spoke, Lin Yu went forward and grabbed Jin, then quickly walked towards Shuaikan village. At this moment, Jin Ling's heart was very emotional. Since she left at least a year ago, she hadn't returned until now. The feelings of homesickness in her heart completely exploded at this moment. After all, Shuaikan village was her home for more than 10 years. The two of them chatted on the road as they walked. Soon, they arrived at the entrance of Shuaikan village. "Hoo-hoo, what's wrong? We're already at the entrance. Why did you stop now?" Lin Yu, who had arrived at the entrance of the village, suddenly stopped in her tracks. She was very nervous. Although she had met the so-called Old Master Jin before, she didn't go with this identity at that time. When Jin Ling, who was in front, saw her husband stop in his tracks, she turned her head and asked with a smile. Ahem. It's nothing. Let's go." After calming himself down, he carried Jin and followed Jin Ling back to the home that Jin Ling had lived in for more than 10 years. At the same time, it was also the place where he recuperated. Jia. The door was gently pushed open by Jin Ling. She walked in excitedly, but what she saw was a scene that Jin Ling didn't want to see in her life. After Jin Ling entered, what she saw was not the scene of an old man sunbathing in the courtyard. This place was like a house that no one had lived in before. In this place, other than weeds, there was endless dust. There was no sign of life at all. No? No. No, this is definitely not my home. I must have remembered wrongly. Seeing this, Jin Ling couldn't bear the blow in her heart. She found all kinds of reasons that she didn't believe to numb herself. As she spoke, Jin Ling walked out and then came back in. The final result was the same. How? How could it be? Where did grandfather go? Where did grandfather go? At this moment, Jean Ling held her head sadly and collapsed on the ground in pain. Her body couldn't help but tremble. This made Lin Yu, who was beside her, feel very distressed. Father, what happened to mother? At this moment, Jean En, who was in Lin Yu's arms, turned his head and asked Lin Yu after seeing his mother's appearance. No. Nothing. It's just that a relative left your mother and also left our En. As she spoke, Lin Yu put Jean En on the ground and then came to Jean Ling, who was hugging her head and crying bitterly. She held her in her arms and said in a heavy tone, Ling, restrain your grief. Everyone will die one day. If grandfather can't escape, neither can you and I. When the time comes, even a strong and healthy person like me might lose my life if I'm not careful. I'm one of the biggest obstacles in life. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't know how to show concern for his wife, so he could only tell her his opinion. Although he knew that it wouldn't work, at least he tried his best. Boo-hoo. Hubby, I thought that grandfather would live a long life. But now, everything is gone. Everything is gone. Woo 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 woo, Jean Ling cried for a long time. In the end, there were no more tears. She didn't even make a sound. Not sure if she was tired from crying or if she had thought it through. Jean Ling? Just as the two of them were sad, a voice sounded from outside the door. Both of them lifted their heads and looked at the door at the same time. It's really you, Jean Ling. Why are you only back now? Your grandfather has been waiting for you to come back for the past year. But after knowing that you might not be able to come back, he left you a letter and left. I don't know where he went exactly. At this moment, a young man walked in. After Lin Yu saw him, he recognized the young man at a glance. He was the one who leaned on the wall and threatened him. What? My grandfather left? Where did he go? At this moment, Jean Ling, who was sitting on the ground, felt a lot better after hearing that her grandfather might not be dead. But when she thought about how her grandfather didn't know anyone on this island except for her, who was his family, where could he have gone? By the way, little Meng, you said that my grandfather left me a letter? Where is it? Give it to me quickly. Oh, wait here. I'll go back and get it for you. Upon hearing Jean Ling's words, the young man called Little Meng hurried to buy noodles. After a while, he returned with a letter in his hand. Here, this is what old Master Jean gave you. We didn't dare to look at it. Well, thank you. Seeing the letter handed over, Jean Ling thanked him and took it in her hand to read it. In the future, live a good life with Lin Yu. I went to see you, he treats you very well, I'm very relieved. Also, Lin Yu's background must be very strong, so he might have other wives in the future. At that time, don't lose a man who treats you so well because of jealousy. I have high hopes for him. I have high hopes for him. She finished reading the letter quickly. Except for the words of not being jealous, the rest were words of concern for her family. Alas, forget it. Since Grandpa doesn't want me to look for him, then I'll follow his words. Well, since there's nothing here for you to worry about, let's go. After that, there's nothing to see here. At this moment, Lin Yu came to Jean Ling's side. After picking up Jean En, he said to Jean Ling and walked outside. Well, you're right. Just like that, the three of them returned to the mountains and never returned to Shuaikan village again. 4 years passed. In these 4 years, Jean Ling taught Jean En all the things that old Master Jean taught her. Similarly, Lin Yu also taught Jean En his ability to kill wild beasts in the forest and let him exercise every day. According to the current Jean En, he could already kill a wolf. Lin Yu had matured a lot and had grown taller. Jean Ling hadn't changed much either. Lin Yu helped her pick wild fruits in the forest every day. In the past few years, Jean Ling hadn't changed at all. Other than her body becoming more plump, she still looked the same. The one who had changed the most was Jean En. Jean En was now 5 years old. He had delicate features and a pair of lively eyes. He looked very smart and elegant. This made Lin Yu very proud. As for the matter of amnesia, Lin Yu almost forgot that he was a person with amnesia. He didn't write about his wife and son every day. He didn't think about anything else. Chapter 173. Father, I'm going fishing by the seaside. Where are you going? Just as Lin Yu was sitting on a rock and reminiscing about the past 5 years, Jean Anne walked up and asked Lin Yu, "What's the matter? Seaside?" Hearing her son's words, Lin Yu's brows furrowed, then relaxed. She smiled, her eyes filled with doting as she said to him, "Go ahead. I won't be going." "Okay, I'll go then." After hearing his father agree to his request, he turned around with a smile and skipped towards the direction of the sea. However, he was stopped by Lin Yu at the last moment. "Remember to protect yourself. Do you still remember what I taught you about how to avoid the pursuit of wild beasts? Remember, if you encounter any danger, run away quickly. Also, remember to come back for dinner when it's time. Otherwise, you know how powerful your mother is. I don't have the right to speak at home. If you don't come back, I will." "Husband, what are you talking about? The child is still so young. Don't teach him such bad things." Okay. Since you want to go to the seaside, I'll go with you. For what I said just now, let your father cook a meal and send it to the seaside for both of us as punishment, okay? The sudden voice made Lin Yu feel as if he had caught the adulterer in the act. When he heard Jean Ling's words, Lin Yu could only smile. Okay. It's my honor to be able to serve both of you. But you must be careful at the seaside. It's not safe for the next 2 days. If there's anything, remember to run away quickly. Don't rush up stupidly, okay? Okay, I know, husband, father. Looking at Lin Yu's worried look, Jean Ling felt warm in her heart. In her heart, Lin Yu had always been like this and had never changed. Okay, both of you go. I'll get something new for both of you. It's been so many years. I can't let both of you eat the same beast meat. After saying that, Lin Yu took the basket and walked into the depths of the forest. Jean Ling and Jean Anne looked at each other and smiled. Then, they turned around and walked towards the seaside. Over the years, there had been a group of black-robed men on the edge of the Sea of Innocence. They seemed to be searching for something. At first, there were only a dozen of them, but now there were 50 or 60 of them. Not only that, there were only 50 or so people left in the group, which originally had more than 100 people. Swimming in the Sea of Innocence was no laughing matter. Every time they reached an island, there would be one less person among them. In the past 6 years, they had almost gotten used to this kind of thing. At this moment, the group of black-clothed men wandering the Sea of Innocence looked at the island in front of them in despair. Their hearts were filled with despair. One of the black-clothed men said to everyone in grief and indignation, "Brothers, we still have to continue searching. It's already been 6 years. If the sect leader is still alive, wouldn't he have returned long ago? From the edge of the Sea of Innocence until now, we had more than 100 brothers and sisters. Look at how many of us are left." At this moment, the black-clothed man roared at everyone present with an agitated expression. His eyes were bloodshot and his face was incomparably ferocious. "Humph, shut up. I believe that the sect leader isn't dead. Have you all forgotten that we are all indebted to the sect leader? Otherwise, who do you think you are right now? Perhaps you would have died long ago. So, no matter what, even if everyone here dies, even if all of us die, we can't give up the search. Besides, there's only one island left in the Sea of Innocence. If we still can't find it, sigh. Leader, although you're right, do you think that the sect leader would be in the depths of the Sea of Innocence if there aren't any of the hundreds of islands before us? Besides, you said that the sect leader might be seriously injured. Maybe. At this point, everyone fell silent. They all knew that for the past few years, Only their leader, the leader of the dark tribe, had persisted. They were only obeying their leader's orders. Alright, stop complaining. The situation in the Tianqian continent is very tense. After the sect leader disappeared and the Xuanzong sect reappeared, there have been many problems. Our Xuanzong sect is no longer what it used to be. 6 years ago, there were only a few thousand cultivators at the combination realm and above. Now, the Xuanzong sect is the #1 sect in the Tianqian continent. Hearing the leader of the Dark Tribe's words, everyone's eyes shone with pride. They were all proud to have such a sect. Although they were far away in the sea, they still had contact with the sects on the continent. But there are still some problems. For example, the Red Lotus Empress. Although she is in the Earth Immortal realm, she was still defeated by the sect leader. If we had known that she would be a problem for the sect, we would have killed her even if the sect leader didn't want to. Unfortunately, it's too late now. Only the Black Dragon Protector is a match for her. As for the others, sigh. Alright, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's hurry up and search the last island. Then we'll head back to the sect. Although it was a little difficult to enter the Sea of Innocence, everyone here has reached the Mahayana realm. Those small fries are no longer our match. Ha ha. Alright, we'll listen to the leader. After searching the last island, we'll follow the leader back to the sect. When the time comes, we'll show off our skills. After everyone heard the leader's words, a smile appeared on their faces. They were no longer as lifeless as before. Seeing this scene, the leader of the dark group also smiled. The Xuanzong sect mentioned by the leader of the dark tribe had been developing rapidly in the past few years. Originally, there were only a few thousand cultivators at the combination realm and above, but now they had continuously expanded and appeared on the continent. Everyone was surprised that such a powerful sect had never appeared in the Tianqian continent. In their minds, the Xuanzong sect had long surpassed the entire Tianqian continent. It had even won over all the cultivators in the Tianqian continent. Moreover, it was the sect leader of the Xuanzong sect. Everyone was curious about who this mysterious sect leader was. Who on earth could be the owner of such a powerful sect? In the past few years, apart from the frequent attacks from the Tianqian continent, no one had dared to do anything to the disciples of the Xuanzong sect. Of course, apart from Red Lotus had also captured many disciples of the Xuanzong sect and tortured them. She had even used the soul-searching technique on them, but to no avail. When Red Lotus was about to use the soul-searching technique on them, Red Lotus had already sealed everything related to the Xuanzong sect. Of course, in the end, when the Xuanzong sect launched an attack, Red Lotus would release the captured Xuanzong sect disciples. As for the disciples of the Xuanzong sect, the sect leader whom the entire Xuanzong sect had been searching for 5 or 6 years, at this moment, he was on an island in the deepest part of the Sea of Innocence, cooking for his wife and child with a happy smile on his face. He did not know that the disciples of the sect had either died or been injured in order to find him, the sect leader who had been missing for 5 or 6 years. Ha ha ha, it's finally done. I believe this thing should be able to let Ling NN try something new. As he spoke, Lin Yu found a wooden basin, filled it with food, and headed to the seaside to deliver it to Jean Ling, who was fishing. Along the way, Lin Yu thought of Jean Ling's happy expression as she ate and Jean N's worshipful gaze, but he did not expect that Jean Ling had already been hurt. Don't look back. I believe your father is already on his way. Tell him that I love him very much. Remember, don't come out. Wait for me to lure that monster away before you go out, okay? After Jean Ling finished speaking, she did not wait for Jean N to speak. She directly rushed out and rushed towards the forest on the other side. After that, a fish-type demonic beast came to land and transformed into a human form. It chased after Jean Ling with a perverted look. Seeing this scene, Jean N followed his mother's instructions. After luring the monster away, he turned around and ran in the direction of his home. At this moment, he was running very fast. He believed that Lin Yu would be surprised if she saw this. A 5-year-old child's running speed was almost faster than an adult. Not long after, Jin saw Lin Yu walking towards him with a smile on her face. Jin immediately ran up and stopped Lin Yu. Jin, why are you here? Where's your mother? I've already finished cooking. Father, mother, she encountered a monster and lured her away, allowing me to rush out. Sometimes, mother would tell me to tell you not to go over. You won't be able to defeat that monster. Mother also said that she loves you very much. Whether it's in this life or the next life, she will continue to love you. Boom. After hearing her son's words, Lin Yu's mind went blank. She never thought that she would encounter such a situation. Father, you. What happened to you? At this moment, Jin, who was standing in front of Lin Yu, saw his father's appearance and was very scared. Because at this moment, Lin Yu's face had revealed a sinister look. His eyes were red as he looked into the distance. Tell me, which direction did your mother go? A voice that seemed to come from the netherworld came out from Lin Yu's mouth. The surrounding temperature also dropped because of his words. Father, mother said not to. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Jin revealed a difficult expression. Hurry up and tell me. Your mother. Which direction did she go? This time, Lin Yu didn't speak to Jin in a gentle tone like before. Instead, Lin Yu was like a wild beast that had gone berserk as he roared at his own son without any regard for his own family. Chapter 174. Looking at his father, Jin was shocked by his father's roar. Tears flowed uncontrollably from his eyes. Mother is running in that direction. When Jin pointed in that direction, he felt a gust of wind blowing from the side. In an instant, he saw a black shadow flash by and disappear in front of him. When Jin came back to his senses, Lin Yu was already gone. Seeing this, Jin's mouth opened wide. His eyes were filled with admiration as he looked at the place where his father disappeared. However, he did not chase after him. Instead, he followed Jin's instructions and walked towards his home. At this moment, in the forest, a figure was moving up and down. His speed was off the charts. It was as if he was not in the forest, but running in a place with no obstacles. Ling Yu. Nothing must happen to you. I said that I would protect you for the rest of my life. Nothing must happen to you. This person was none other than Linley, who was almost angered to death by his son's weakness. He was also driven mad by Jinling's words. When he heard that his wife had let his son escape alone in order to lure away the monster, Lin Yu exploded. At this moment, there was only one thought in Lin Yu's mind. It did not matter if the other party was a human, a monster, or a beast. As long as they touched Jinling's wife, he would disregard his own life and fight to the death with them. No matter what the outcome was, even if he died, it did not matter. As long as it could give Jinling a chance to live, Lin Yu would do it. At this moment, in another direction, after Jinling lured the monster away, she kept running forward. When she reached the edge of a cliff, Jinling stopped. At this moment, Jinling was already prepared to die. Turning around and looking in the direction of her home, Jinling's eyes flashed with tenderness. She muttered to herself, "Husband Ling can't accompany you in this life. In the next life, I still want to be your wife. Jinan will be taken care of by you." After saying that, the tenderness in her eyes disappeared and was replaced by determination and despair. She turned around and jumped off the cliff in front of her. In the air, Jinling was still thinking about Lin Yu. Jinling, who originally thought that she was going to die, was stopped in midair by an extraordinary force. She looked up and saw that the man who had been chasing her had appeared at the edge of the cliff. He was looking at her with a lewd smile, which made Jinling feel disgusted. "Humph, you want to die? Do you think that's possible?" How can I let a human woman die so easily? Get up here. The moment the man finished speaking, the golden bell that was suspended in mid-air slowly rose upwards. Finally, the golden bell returned to the edge of the world. Although you're not that good-looking, at the very least, you're much better than the fishes and shrimps in the water. Although you're not a virgin, you're still a beauty. Give up. I won't let you have your way. Even if I die, although I don't know who you are, I know that even if I want to die, you won't be able to stop me. The man standing in front of her smiled disdainfully after hearing Jean Ling's word. Then you might not know that as a Mahayana realm cultivator, not to mention controlling you, I can even solve a matter of life and death. Do you think you can die? Don't come over, don't come over. After hearing the man's words, Jean Ling didn't believe him at first. However, after seeing the man's disdainful expression, she completely believed him. She began to believe that the man had this ability. Bah! A loud slap came from Jean Ling's face. Jean Ling's face was red and swollen, and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Humph, you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Let me tell you, there are many women who want to be with me, but there aren't many who can catch my eye. However, you're one of them, so, seeing this scene, Jean Ling knew that she couldn't escape today. However, Jean Ling, who was prepared to die, had no use now. Well, it seems that your lover isn't obedient. Just as the man was about to make a move, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Seeing this, the man knew that this figure must be the lover of the woman under him. What? Husband? Hearing the man's words, Jean Ling was dumbfounded. She remembered telling Jean Anne not to come. At this moment, Jean Ling was nervous and excited. After seeing the man's means, Jean Ling knew that her husband was no match for the man in front of her. He couldn't even block one move from the man. No. You can't kill him. I beg you, please don't hurt him. As long as you don't hurt him, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll listen to you. Saying this, the tears in Jean Ling's eyes flowed out at this moment. Her eyes were staring forward. She was afraid that Lin Yu would appear, but at the same time, she didn't want Lin Yu to appear. Oh no. No. Isn't it more fun now? Don't you want to see how your lover will feel when I humiliate you in front of him? Ha ha. At this moment, the man was full of excitement. Then, he stood up from Jean Ling's body and went to the side to wait for Lin Yu to appear. How could this be? How could this be? At this moment, after hearing the man's words, Jean Ling's eyes were filled with despair. She didn't expect the man to have such a plan. Sure enough, after a while, the figure that Jean Ling didn't want to appear appeared. At this moment, Lin Yu hurried over. When she saw the man lying on the ground with a red palm print on his face, a trace of madness flashed in her eyes. She rushed towards the man and roared. How can you treat her like this? When she married me, I swore that if anyone dared to lay a finger on her, I would let him die without a burial ground. Now you treat her like this. You can't be forgiven. Go to hell. Seeing Lin Yu rushing over, the man stood up slowly and said to Lin Yu, Is that so? But not only do I want to do this, I want you to watch me and your wife enter the bridal chamber. As he spoke, the man raised his hand and a ray of spiritual energy rushed out and shot towards Lin Yu. Bang! The spiritual energy collided with Lin Yu. In an instant, Lin Yu was sent flying by the spiritual energy. Oh, with such little strength, you dare to clamor with me? Today, I will let you know what it means to be a strong person. Seeing that Lin Yu was in such a sorry state, the man stepped forward and kicked Lin Yu's body. How could Lin Yu withstand the torture of a Mahayana realm cultivator? After a while, Lin Yu's body became a bloody mess and blood flowed out continuously. No, don't hit him anymore. Don't hit him anymore. I will do anything you want me to do as long as you let him go. I beg you. Seeing this scene, Jean Ling's heart was filled with pain. She begged the man for mercy and slowly began to take off her clothes. Ha ha, good. As long as you submit to me today, I will let you, a former man, live for a few more days. Seeing this scene, the man was overjoyed. This was the result he wanted. However, the one who suffered the most was Lin Yu, who was lying on the ground and being beaten to a bloody mess by the man and whose life was hanging by a thread. No, don't. Don't. Even if I die, I will not let him touch you. Do you want my death to be worthless? Don't. Instantly, Lin Yu, who was lying on the ground, saw that his wife was willing to be humiliated by this man for him. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei went completely crazy and roared at Jinling. But you will die. I don't want you to die. I want you. I am really fine. As long as you are alive, I will be satisfied. At this moment, Jinling, who was taking off her clothes, heard Lin Yu's words and stopped what she was doing. Ha ha. Ha ha. It doesn't matter anymore. As long as you don't wrong yourself, I am willing to die. Ha ha. Fine, fine. Since you have chosen death, I shall fulfill your wish. Looking at the two of them, the woman was completely infuriated. She raised her hand and punched Lin Yu's head. She wanted to destroy Lin Yu's body. Don't. Seeing this scene, Jinling, who was lying on the ground, turned pale instantly. Her body trembled in fear and she screamed at the man. Bam! Gotcha! The man's fist landed on Lin Yu's head, but he didn't see the situation he wanted. Instead, he heard an unknown cracking sound. Boom! At this moment, a terrifying aura emanated from Lin Yu's body. In an instant, the man was suppressed to the ground. What? How is this possible? How is this possible? How can he have such a powerful aura? Isn't he an ordinary person? At this moment, the man who was suppressed to the ground by Lin Yu's aura had a trace of disbelief in his eyes. After the initial shock, he couldn't stop muttering the word unbelievable. On the other hand, Jinling, who was beside him, was even more astonished. She had seen the man's abilities, but this was the first time she saw her husband in such a situation. Husband, are you all right? At this moment, Jinling stood up with difficulty and went to Lin Yu's side and called out softly. But after a long time, Lin Rei didn't make any sound. He was still alive and still lying on the ground. She didn't know if he was dead or alive. But the next scene shocked Jinling. She saw that the flesh and blood that was kicked by the man was slowly recovering. Looking at this scene, Jinling's mouth was wide open and her eyes were filled with astonishment. However, after the dark group arrived on this island and felt the aura, they became excited. The leader of the dark group shouted excitedly. Yes, this is the sect leader's aura. This is the sect leader's aura. Finally, we found him. Chapter 175. After the excitement, the leader of the dark tribe said to his men behind him, All of you, follow me to the place where the pressure is emitted. Our Xuanzong sect's leader has been found. Ha ha ha, finally. Quick, leader, let's go quickly. With that, the members of the dark tribe flew towards the place where the pressure was emitted. Along the way, everyone was very confused. Why was the leader in this place and not in the sect? However, they didn't know that it wasn't that Lin Rei didn't want to go back, but that all his memories and strength were sealed by his companion's final sealing technique. Even his physical strength was sealed. At this time, Lin Rei, after being hit by the man, accidentally broke that layer of seal. Lin Rei then remembered everything, but Lin Rei still can't wake up at this time. Hee host, how have you been these past few years? At this time, Lin Rei had been summoned into the system space by the little dragon. When he heard the little dragon's voice, Lin Rei quickly straightened his body and saw the little dragon sitting in the air, looking at him with a smile. What's going on? I know I've been sealed, but how could his facade have the ability to seal the system? That's impossible. At this time, Lin Ray turned around and asked the little dragon in the air, puzzled. His tone was full of disbelief. It's nothing. You also know that the system has now merged with you. Since your memories and strength have been sealed, as a part of your body, of course, it is no exception. Of course, after a few years, although the system woke up, it didn't disturb you when it felt that you were comprehending the Tao of life. If that idiot hadn't accidentally opened your seal this time, you would have continued to live like this until you completely comprehended it. Damn, what do you mean, do you know? I almost died, and Linger was almost humiliated. In short, I don't want something like this to happen again. At this moment, Lin Ray knew that he had been tricked by the system. For a moment, he felt very unhappy. Alright, let's not talk about it anymore. Alright, how did you wake up? I remember the system told me to cultivate as much as possible within 5 years and then wake you up. However, during these 5 years, I didn't cultivate at all. How did you? Yes, you're right. It was like that at first, but due to various reasons, I recovered. After I woke up, I saw the life you were living and saw your happy smile. I didn't want to disturb your peace because I know that such a life is a luxury for someone like you who has a system. Upon hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray gave him a look of gratitude. Instantly, the little dragon shuddered and said to Lin Ray with a look of disgust. Don't, please don't, I'm disgusted. Ha ha ha. The two of them laughed happily, and there was a kind of sympathy in their eyes. Alright, hurry up and get out. After everything is settled, go back to your original home. I guess everyone in the Tianxian continent is now your Xuanzong Sect's people. Alright, I'm going out. Come out more often in the future. Lin Ray smiled and understood the meaning of the little dragon's words. He had been missing for 6 years, and the sect had probably sent out all their forces to find him. Thinking of this, Lin Ray became anxious. Lin Ray came out of the space and returned to reality. He opened his eyes and felt the pain on his body. He thought that it was caused by the man just now. Ah, husband, you're awake. Jean Ling, who had been waiting by the side, saw that Lin Yu had woken up and asked, Yes, I'm awake. This time, I will make those who bullied you, including his entire family, die with you. Also, I've recovered my memory. I'm not Lin Ray, I'm Lin Ray. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Jean Ling showed an excited expression. Although Lin Ray could see that when Jean Ling heard that he had recovered his memory, there was a trace of strangeness, but it quickly dissipated. Yes, I know. No matter what you become, you will always be my husband and father. Yes, I will always be your husband and father. When Lin Ray said "n," he paused for a moment, and a trace of unhappiness flashed across his face. Alright, let's not talk about this first. Next, I will destroy the person just now, and his entire family as the price for your slap. Seeing that Jean Ling was about to say something, Lin Ray quickly changed the topic. He put his arm around Jean Ling's slender waist and strolled to the side of the man lying on the ground. It's your Kuan Fish clan again. Why is it that every time something bad happens to me, it's your Kuan Fish clan? At this time, after Lin Ray checked the man's body, he found out that this man was the same as the previous Kuan Fish with the Earth Immortal scripture. Seeing this, Lin Ray was completely enraged. It could be said that both new and old grudges had been accumulated. Well, you've seen our clan before? Then you should know that our Kuan Fish clan has the protection of an Earth Immortal Realm Patriarch. Aren't you afraid of getting into trouble? As long as you promise to let me go, I promise to let bygones be bygones. After hearing that Lin Ray knew that he was from the Kuan Fish clan, the man thought that Lin Ray was afraid of them, so he resumed his previous pretentious attitude. Ha ha, the patriarch of your Kuan Fish clan, the companion of the primordial fruit? I'm afraid you don't know. In fact, 6 years ago I've already killed the patriarch you're talking about. What? No. Impossible, the patriarch of my Kuan fish clan is an Earth immortal realm patriarch. Impossible, you're lying to me. At this time, the man shouted at Lin Ray like a madman. His tone was full of disbelief. Just wait and see. Your Kuan fish clan will be punished. Whether it's your patriarch sealing me 6 years ago or you humiliating my woman now, I'll make your clan pay the price. After saying that, Lin Ray did not give the man a chance to speak. With a slap, the man's body and soul were directly smashed into pieces, leaving nothing behind. At the side, Jean Ling, who saw this scene, was shocked by Lin Ray's actions and her face turned pale. It's okay, as long as you like this kind of thing. You'll see it often in the future, so you have to get used to it. After all, you're going to be the woman of a sect master in the future. After saying that, Lin Ray's hand touched the swollen area where the man had slapped and gently stroked it. After a while, Lin Ray's spiritual power healed it, leaving no scar at all. Okay, let's go. And we're still at home. After saying that, Lin Ray took Jean Ling's hand and was about to go home. However, a group of people descended from the sky and directly knelt on the ground. They said respectfully to Lin Ray, the 56 members of the Dark Group pay our respects to the Sect Master. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray was not surprised because he had already felt their aura when he woke up. However, at this time, Jean Ling was once again stunned by Lin Ray's actions. She had never thought that her man would be so powerful. When Lin Ray lost his memory, he had always been influenced by a gentleman. And all of you rise. You've all worked hard these years. When we reach profound heaven, I will reward you according to your merits. As for those who died in the Sea of Innocence, when we return to the sect, we will also reward you according to your merits. Yes, we will obey the sect master's orders. After hearing Lin Ray's words, the 56 members of the Dark Group all stood up, but each of them had a tired smile on their faces. You're awake. Find a place to rest first. I guess you haven't paid much attention to it all these years. Here, these things may be of some benefit to you. Seeing that everyone was tired, Lin Ray directly threw some of the pills that he had refined before to them. Then, he turned and took Jean Ling's hand and walked into the distance. All right, since the sect master has found us, then according to the sect master's orders, all of you find a place to rest. Eat the pills that the sect master has distributed and wait for the sect master's next order. After all, our mission has been completed. After the leader of the Dark Tribe finished speaking, they distributed the pills and left to find a place to have a good night's sleep. Meanwhile, after Lin Ray took Jean Ling away, he found a place where no one was around and carried her on his back. Husband, don't do this. I'm not pregnant right now. This sudden action startled Jean Ling, who had been in a state of shock all this time. It's all right. We've been husband and wife for so long. Do you still care about these things? Besides, there's still a long way to go. As he spoke, he ignored Jean Ling's resistance and carried her on his back. After they found out where they were staying, Lin Ray put Jean Ling down. Husband, are we leaving this island? And yes. You saw it too. So many people are looking for me. If I don't go back, there will probably be chaos over there. But don't worry, no matter when, I will always be the Lin Yu who has lived with you for 6 years. And I got it. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Jean Ling didn't say anything more. After all, too many things had happened today, so much that it was beyond her imagination. It had overturned her worldview. At this time, Jean En seemed to have heard their conversation and knew that they were back. He opened the door and walked out. Mother, you're back. When he saw Jean Ling, Jean En immediately threw himself into Jean Ling's arms. However, there was a flash of fear in his eyes. After glancing at Lin Ray, he didn't look at him again. He's awake. Just give him a hug. He's already so old. It's time for him to be independent. As he spoke, Lin Rei took Jin En down from Jin Ling's arms and put him on the ground. Remember, you're my son, Lin Rei. No matter what happens in the future, even if you don't have any strength, don't leave your family behind. Mother or wife, when you encounter danger, you must stand in front of them and not let them lead the danger away. This is the first thing I'm going to tell you, and it's also a very important thing. Chapter 176. Jin En burrowed into Jin Ling's arms in shame when he heard his father's words. Tears flowed uncontrollably from his eyes. Husband, don't be like this. En, he's only a child. How could he know so much? Besides, as a mother, how could I bear to let my son do such a dangerous thing? Jin Ling couldn't help but say to Lin Rei when she saw him fiercely scolding his child. Haha, Ling, aren't I educating him? Besides, I don't want my child to be a coward. If that's the case, I'd rather kill him than see him using my name to flaunt his power outside. When Lin Rei hadn't recovered his memories and was still Lin Yu, he really did want to kill his son when he heard that his son had stopped him from going to Jin Ling. However, his murderous intent was restrained at the time. I don't care. No matter how wrong my son is, I don't want you to touch him. This is your bottom line as a father. Lin Rei smiled helplessly at the protective Jin Ling. Then, he went to the kitchen and started cooking. Lin Rei had gotten used to this kind of life over the past few years. You guys go in and rest for a while. Too many things have happened today. When everything is settled, let's get ready to leave. After saying that, Lin Rei turned his head again and busied himself with the beast meat in his hand. When Jin Ling heard Lin Rei's words, she didn't say anything and brought Jin En back to the room alone. Lin Rei, who originally thought that everything had returned to normal, didn't know that at this time, in the depths of the Sea of Innocence, a group of fish that looked like the body of the man who had just died appeared. How could this be? My son, how could my son die? How did you protect the young master? At this moment, a nearly 100 zhang tall fish appeared and spoke to the smaller fish. Its voice was filled with sorrow and tears flowed out of its eyes. Seeing this scene, the two fish were stunned. No, it's not like that. Clan leader, please listen to me. It was young master who told us to go out for a walk. He didn't want us to follow him. He even said that if we followed him, he would kill the two of us and our families. So, speaking until here, the two fishes' body began to tremble in the deep sea. Just when they were explaining, the fish that they called the patriarch was looking at them with murderous eyes. It could not wait to kill them immediately. Ugh! Ugh! A strange cry was emitted from the mouth of the 1,000-foot-long Kuan fish. In an instant, the entire deep sea was stirred up by this angry roar. Those with insufficient cultivation were finally crushed by this huge wave in an instant. No matter who it is, since they dared to touch this sovereign's son, even if they possess heaven-defying abilities, they will still have to face this sovereign's fury. In an instant, the fish turned its head and swam rapidly into the deep sea, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Huff, in an instant after the 1,000-foot-long Kuan fish left, the two fish who remained in the same place breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, the fear in their eyes had yet to dissipate. Scared me to death. Scared me to death, yes. Who killed the young master? He really doesn't want to live anymore. How dare he attack in the Sea of Innocence? It seems that this person doesn't want to live anymore. At this time, after the 1,000-foot-long Kuan fish left, the two fish heaved a sigh of relief and began to discuss the man's death. Forget it. Since he's dead, let's go back first. There's no one to protect anyway. Yes, I agree. After the discussion, they instantly turned and walked in the other direction. Their speed was also incomparably fast, although it was still not as fast as the previous one. Time passed just like that. Ever since Lin Rei recovered his memories, He had stayed in the past for 3 days. After that, he no longer had the mood to go back. The way home was in his hands. At this time, what he wanted to do most was to hurry back to the Tianxian continent and settle everything. Then, he would take his 9 heavens Xuanzong Sect and leave this place where he had lived for more than 10 years to return to his true home. The dark unit that Lin Rei had dismissed gathered again in the evening of the second day. The leader of the dark unit passed the news of finding Lin Rei to the people of the Xuanzong Sect, who were far away in the Tianxian continent. When the people of the Xuanzong Sect received the news from the leader of the dark unit, they finally felt relieved. Finally, Black Dragon ordered all the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect to gather at the edge of the Sea of Innocence and wait for the return of the sect master of the Xuanzong Sect, Lin Rei. Of course, Bing, He, Lin Tian, Wan Yu, and the others were also among them. Dong Xiaonan was also among them. The 9 Heavens Trading Company now had many branches in the Tianxian continent. During the first year of Lin Rei's disappearance, the owner of the company had joined the search party for Lin Rei. The morning of the 3rd day. Where is the dark unit? At this time, Lin Rei had already changed back into his immortal equipment. He looked much more handsome than before, much more comfortable than when he had been wearing the animal clothing. As for Jinling, Lin Rei had even dressed her up with great care. As the saying goes, clothes make the man. Sure enough, after Lin Rei put on the treasure-level robe on Jinling, he also found some accessories. Jinling, who was neatly dressed, instantly looked many times more beautiful. As for Jinan, Lin Rei had no intention of changing his clothes. According to Lin Rei's plan, when they returned, Lin Rei would send him to the dark unit to train until he succeeded in his cultivation. After returning to the 21st century, he would receive 9 years of service. Only then would he be able to bear everything that Lin Rei had given him. After hearing Lin Rei's arrangement, Jinling originally didn't want to agree. However, Lin Rei said some things that might happen in the future. In the end, Jinling nodded and agreed. Although she was very reluctant, she had no choice. The leader of the dark unit, Black Shadow, pays his respects to the sect leader. Does the sect leader have any orders? At this time, the leader of the dark unit, who had been waiting not far away, appeared in front of Lin Rei at the first moment after hearing Lin Rei's call. He knelt on the ground and accepted Lin Rei's orders. Well, go to the Sea of Innocence and invite all the members of the Kunyu clan here. No matter what method you use, I want to thank them properly. Because of their sealing technique, I lost my memory, but because of it, I was able to meet and have a wife. Yes, we will arrange it right away. With that, the shadow turned and flew into the distance. However, after hearing Lin Rei's words just now, he was very surprised, especially after hearing the news of his memory loss. Only then did he understand why he hadn't contacted the sect for the past few years. Indifferent. Lin Rei didn't know what the shadow was thinking at this time. At this time, the only thing in Lin Rei's mind was to capture all the members of the Kunyu clan who had harmed Jinling and then exterminate them. Husband, why don't we forget about it? Anyway, I don't have anything important to do. Let's leave. At this time, Jinling, who had been standing next to Lin Rei, calmly understood what Lin Rei was talking about. Jinling didn't want her husband to kill because of her, so she hurriedly persuaded him. Well, you don't have to worry about this matter. I will take care of it. This time, I will let all the creatures in the Sea of Innocence and the people of the Tianxian continent know that my, Lin Rei's, woman is not someone they can touch, let alone hit, not even a finger. With that, Lin Rei flew into the sky, leaving Jinling behind. After hearing her husband's words, a happy smile appeared on her face, and she turned and walked into the room. The dark tribe sent out by Lin Rei followed Lin Rei's orders and came to the sky above the Sea of Innocence. All of them had the appropriate cultivation of the Great Ascension stage, and then attacked the sea. Suddenly, the sea water rolled and the bottom of the sea tumbled. This caused many people to come out to take a look, but after knowing that the dark tribe wasn't targeting them, they felt relieved and returned to their lairs. The Kunyu clan is very good. I order you to come to the land in 15 hours. Otherwise, you will be beheaded and killed without mercy. At this moment, the leader of the dark tribe, Black Shadow, suddenly shouted at the Sea of Innocence with all the spiritual power of his cultivation. His voice was transmitted into the deep sea, and the Kunyu that were resting in the deep sea hesitated for a moment after hearing Black Shadow's words and came to the land. The Kunyu wanted to hide in the sea, but at this time, they changed into their human forms as soon as they came to the land. There was also a group of Kunyu that, due to their insufficient cultivation, still looked like Kunyu. May I ask who you are? Why are you treating us like this in the territory of the Kunyu clan? At this time, a Kunyu that had already transformed asked Black Shadow, standing in the air after receiving the order of the Kunyu clan leader. Of course, there was a slight anger in his tone. Ha! The territory of the Kunyu clan? I didn't want to come, but one of you had a death wish and offended my young master, so you were all implicated by your clansmen. Hearing his question, Black Shadow did not lie and directly told him what he knew. But in an instant, the Kunyu clan leader who was hiding in the sea was completely enraged after hearing Black Shadow's words. Bastard, are you the ones who killed my son? At this time, the Kunyu tribe master was enraged and directly rushed out for his son. He unleashed a powerful attack towards the Black Shadow. Humph, since you don't want to take my advice, don't blame me for it. Seeing the attack and the Kunyu clan leader rushing towards him, Black Shadow, who was originally calm, was completely enraged. He directly took out the precious weapon that Lin Rei had given them and directly slashed the Kunyu clan leader's attack and the Kunyu clan leader's attack back to his original position. Boom! At this time, the Kunyu tribe leader returned to his original position after being attacked by the Black Shadow. The rocks under his feet had been shattered by the Black Shadow's power, and a huge pit had appeared in the ground. Hiss! All the members of the Kunyu clan were stunned by this attack. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.